A very happy Friday to everybody. Good evening and welcome to beautiful Wheeling High School with beautiful lights and beautiful courts. Wyatt Utrecht Jackson Gross here for the premier game tonight. Primero as number one, as we will follow the girls game tonight beginning at 7:30. These two teams have faced each other before. In 2018 though, which was dominated by the Prospect Knights. It did not seem like that through the first couple minutes of the first quarter. And Jackson, if Prospect wants to keep that momentum going, how do they do that tonight?
Really just playing just really good basketball, closing out on defense, playing the right way. I don't think they're at where they're at. They're around a 500 record in the conference and overall, so I think they want to do a little bit better than that. Just to trying to get a little bit momentum back as the season progresses.
Last week they got a big momentum boost in taking down the previously 3-1 Rolling Meadows team, but of course Max Christie was not in the lineup. But they're now 5-0 on the conference schedule, and they have a lot of road games. This is another road test before they head back home and take on the Hersey Huskies next week. For the Wildcats, if they want to pull off an upset, how are they going to get that done tonight?
Really just playing the same way they have been over this three-game stretch. Before their overtime win against Palatine, they had gone on a 10-game losing streak. And a lot of the problems were they didn't really have a good rebounding force inside and everything. And you would think with Ivan Miro getting injured that would go away. But ever since junior Cade Zalewski has entered the lineup, they've won 3 in a row, and the rebounding overall has looked a lot better. Now they have played Palatine, no discredit to them, and Elk Grove, and Round Lake, but this is going to be a real test to see if what they've been doing can work against some really good competition.
And now you're playing, for Wheeling, 3-game winning streak coming in. Now you play the best, probably the best ranked team in the Mid-Suburban League East in the Prospect Knights, and how they react will be interesting. Wonder what the expectations are from Mike O'Keefe and staff. I assume they're of the utmost intents, as they played with this Prospect team very well early in that first quarter in their first meeting. Just fell apart completely after that.
Yeah, they just kind of ran out of gas after Prospect kind of stole the momentum back during that first quarter, and they're never really able to recover. And overall, during that 10-game losing streak, that's what really killed Wheeling. They would have some momentum boost during the games, but they would lose the lead and lose momentum, and they just couldn't fight back.
We will take a pause. National anthem coming up next, and tip-off is right after that. I can hear everything now. Alrighty, so the pregame festivities have now gone by the wayside as we are just about ready to tip it off from Wheeling High School. Wildcats and Knights for the second time, final time of the year, but who knows, they could meet in a regional just down the road from now. For Prospect, they've played, I think, four games on this court, including tonight's contest with three of them being on the Hardwood Classic. The Christmas tournament here at Wheeling High School, it definitely helps to have on-court experience in this building.
Yeah, it's good to know how the court feels every time, because even though they're mostly made of the same material, every gym is different.
Absolutely, in this experience, and it looks like, I'm not sure what is on the pizza boxes from the Wheeling students. Looks like there's a picture of Peyton Manning on there.
Maybe a little jab at John Kreidler, who has an eerie resemblance to the NFL Hall of Famer and his ads regarding Papa John's.
It's very close, and I think well done by the Wheeling Wildcats, and as lineups are getting introduced, we'll get to those in just a moment. Relatively quiet here for a Friday night. Which means we can hear more, so that's nice.
Yeah, I think part of that is to do with all the snow, as it looks like our athletic director, Dr. Steve May, is confiscating said pizza boxes.
Last time I checked, I don't think it'll be snowing in this gym, but we've seen crazier things.
Yeah.
John Camadella is the head coach of the Prospect Knights. The Wildcats are coached by Mr. Michael O'Keefe. Both are a social science teacher and a counselor, respectively.
Both do a good job at their respective schools and just making sure their students get the best education and best help that they need, obviously both being counselors.
As both sides exchange pleasantries with each other. Very nice. Wheeling's gonna throw out Joe Jordan, Jeremy Kim, Michael Best, Solomon Hudson, I think Brandon Zedek, while Prospect will throw out Zelmer, John Kreidler, Sam Murray, TJ Johansson, and Ben Miller. All right, and off we go on this Friday night. Tip-off is won by the Knights, who will start at half court. Zelmer's at the top, looking for something. He's gonna have Jordan on him. Miller on with Best on him, and now they switch. Murray. Zelmer's gonna pop a three. That's off, and a rebound by Best. Prospect's offensive shooting has been their main source of offense this year, and it's done a very good job as they have shot the ball extremely well this year. Kim is gonna take it around, give it over to Best. Jordan on the post. Prospect not a team that plays a lot of post offense. Their post defense has been up to the challenge as well.
Hey, good interior play and outside play by Prospect. Really good defensive unit for the most part.
Zedek. It looks like Prospect is playing man here early. And Jordan's going to have an open lane to the rim, and he off on and gets his own rebound. It looked like it went off of Kreidler, and Wheeling will keep possession. Tough shot right there. Good for him to get up there, just unfortunate error in doubt. It's a team like Prospect. Sometimes those simple errors will come back and haunt you. Best is going to put up a three. That's good. And the opening points of the night belong to the home team. Yeah, Michael Best has such a pretty stroke on that shot. It's just, it's a pretty sight to watch. Form looked good, and that shot was perfect. Johansson going to pop one. No, and a rebound by Jordan. I know there's no one around Jordan, but as we've seen early, Wildcat rebounding's been better. And one of the other things to note is that Michael O'Keefe made another change in the starting lineup, putting sophomore Solomon Hudson over junior Christian McLaughlin. It's an interesting decision. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe he knows something we don't. Kim on a nice floater, and it's 5-0 Wildcats early. This seems like the start we saw just about, I think it was about 6 weeks ago. And now let's see if Wheeling can keep up the momentum and not let it slide like he did last time. They can't run out of gas. And Johansson now to Kreidler, has Zedek on him, pretty even in height. Zelmer almost lost the basketball. And now he'll hand it over. Johansson, Zelmer, that's for three. That's good. And Prospect has their first points on the evening. I think with how well Wheeling is playing and how Prospect is overall, this is going to be a lot closer game than some think. And Sam Murray is going to be called for a foul. Looked like he grabbed Michael Best. And he'll take it out of the side. Prospect's outside shooting has been very good this year, but again, anytime you rely on that as your main source of offense, it just takes one bad shooting night, and you're in a lot of trouble. Best is going to put one up. Deep two, that's good. A deep two from Best, and now it's 7-3. Knights and the Knights, 7-3 Wildcats, excuse me, and now the Knights will look to try and answer right back. Zelmer into Murray, but a foul is going to be called on Solomon Hudson for a hold. Holding Sam Murray, and he'll be taking it at the baseline.
Yeah, one of the things, even though Hudson brings a little bit better defensive edge, he's still a sophomore and a little inexperienced on this varsity level.
Two sophomores on the court right now in Hudson and Jordan, and there's a rebound by Kreidler. Nobody was boxing out there for Wheeling. And a very easy offensive rebound. Zelmer for three, that's good. 2 of 2 on his first three-point shots of the night, and now it's 7-6 Wildcats.
Yeah, you can't leave a shooter like Zelmer open like that. He's just going to keep killing you from outside.
And now Best over to Kim. A lot of motion in this Wheeling offense, and it looks like a travel on a jump by Joe Jordan.
Yeah, it looks like he got a little tied up inside and just couldn't get the feet planted quite right to stop his momentum.
Got to relax there. And now Prospect will start it up. Very balanced lineup for the Wildcats. 2 sophomores and 3 seniors. For Prospect, it's just 5 seniors. So, and Kreidler's going to lose the ball. Almost turned it over, but Ben Miller got it right back. Zelmer fakes. Jordan almost left his feet there. And now Johansson is going to drive. He's got a wide open layup, and he gets it. Just a collapse there on the drive from Johansson, and Prospect has its first lead of the night.
Yeah, I think they got a little lost. Wildcats got a little lost defensively there. So
now they're going to start double teaming at the bay, and there's a turnover from the Wildcats. That's something they gotta really bring down in order to pull off the victory tonight. Christian McLaughlin and Cade Zalewski is on in for the Wildcats. First substitutions of the night, and the home team will get some guys some drinks of water. Zelmer is at the top, motioning to Kreidler, and Zedek doing a nice job there. Murray driving up, that's good. And now it's 9-7 Knights. 10-7, excuse me.
Yeah, Prospect has swung the momentum once again in this game, and Wheeling's a little discombobulated in offense and defense so far.
And Zedek cannot hit it. A block by Sam Murray. Nice job there to get the block. And Kreidler drives, that's good, and I think Mike O'Keefe's going to take a timeout, and he will do just that. Timeout Wheeling, 3:03 left in the first quarter with a 12-7 lead for Prospect. Prospect looking to make it a perfect 6-0 on the MSLE schedule, as they'll take on the always challenging Hersey Huskies a week from tonight at Prospect.
Yeah,
that'll wrap up their season series as well.
Yeah, Hersey is always definitely a tough out for any team, especially in the MSL East. And I was just looking over Prospect, as you mentioned, 5-0 in the MSL East, but only a 9-9 overall record.
Yeah, they've played some very good teams. Not just lost a tough one in Schaumburg just the other night. Yeah, on Saturday night after the victory at Rolling Meadows, they had to go to Schaumburg. Things did not go as well for the Knights against the Saxons. So now Prospect's going to put some pressure here on Kim a little bit. Just going to follow him up to the half court. And it seems like that's where they really took advantage of Wildcat turnovers in their first meeting at Prospect High. Kim's going to go round. He's working on Matt Wolak, who subbed in for the Knights just a moment or two ago. And now another turnover. This time it's at the hands of Christian McLaughlin. Sloppy couple of sloppy turnovers there for the Wildcats here in the last couple of seconds.
Yeah, not what Michael O'Keefe wants in terms of his offense right now. Some really bad possessions so far.
Now Wheeling will get it back on a prospect mishap, and now Joe Jordan's going to come in for Zedek, and now it's Jack Schneider for Ben Miller. Jack Schneider hit a very clutch shot in the Prospects win against Notre Dame College Prep at the Wheeling Hardwood Classic on this very floor, except on the opposite side that they're shooting right now. Putting pressure on McLaughlin as the Knights, and there's a turnover again. Wildcats have turned it over 3 times, I think, in their last 3 possessions. Murray at the top, leading traffic around, now gives it over to Kreidler. Zelmer, Wolak. Schneider in the corner, and now Zelmer. And that is going to be off the hands of McLaughlin and remains with the Knights.
Yeah, part of the reason I was talking to some of the Wheeling players, part of the reason they took out McLaughlin out of the starting lineup is he had seemed to really struggle on defense. It's good to see him to get that tip pass right there.
Got to get some momentum, some of that momentum back. He's had a couple turnovers here in this first quarter. Zelmer puts it up. That's no good. That might have been the first shot he's missed tonight. And a rebound goes to Best and Kim, and Wheeling is moving. Here's McLaughlin. That's off, and a rebound by Murray.
Yeah, he had plenty of time. Seemed like a little bit of a quick release right there.
And a foul is going to be called, I think, on Zalewski. It will be. It's a push. And now Michael Slepsky, Ben Miller, and TJ Johansson check in for Prospect. Zelmer, Murray, and Kreidler will be those exiting for now. 1:36 left here in the first quarter from Wheeling High School. It is a 12-7 Prospect lead. Miller. Wolak, I didn't think he was expecting that pass, but he got it anyway. And now Johansson. Wolak. Johansson. And that's almost turned over. Zedek might have been better just leaving that. Actually, that's Zalewski. Might have been better just leaving that one out, because who knows, that might have gone off of Johansson's hand, but it's Prospect ball regardless.
Good hustle, though. Good to see Zalewski working hard.
Now Wolak has Best on him with the Turkeys in the Wheeling student section yelling defense.
Pajama night for the Wheeling student section.
Turkeys, Spider-Man.
It's like Chewbacca.
It's a real pajama party out here. Here's Johansson. They've been using a lot of time on this clock. Now 44 seconds left here in the first quarter.
I think that's
Wolak's going to reset. Maybe does Prospect just go for the last shot? I don't think they are. Now you have Slepsky. It looked like he had a chance of an open shot, but a travel is going to be called on Schneider as the Wheeling student section gets excited.
Yeah. Good for Prospect working it all the way down to 30 seconds. You just got a little happy feet right there and trying to move.
They drew it down to 30 seconds, just ended incorrectly. Just ended in a travel on Jack Schneider. Sure, that's one John Camarillo might want to rethink into the first quarter, but I think he's got to be pretty happy with how they've played so far. Kim's got to be careful of the line, and Best is going to put it up. That's off. Rebound by Zalewski, and it went off. And it belongs to the Wildcats. Camarillo is asking for a jump ball, as both players looked like they had hands on it, to no avail for the Knights. Kim now at the top. Gonna drive, make some nice little nifty moves. 7 on the clock. They got 5. Wheeling's got to put up a shot like right about now. Best is going to have some trouble, and they're just gonna end the first quarter like that. All right. So it's a 12-7 Prospect night lead as we end the first quarter. I think Wheeling's turnovers just got to be, that's the big key. They got this is a close game right now, but they got to put a handle on these turnovers.
And they're lucky it's a 12-7 game, because ever since that timeout when Prospect first got this 5-point lead, no one's been able to score. So good defense and not the best passing have led to that, but Wheeling's lucky to still be in this.
Their defense has done a good job not letting Prospect get too much momentum, and that's with the 12-7 score line that is showing right now. So Wheeling had, I think he had 3 turnovers on 3 straight possessions in that opening quarter. I don't think they scored after like the 3-minute mark of the quarter, but they got to have more offense than this if they want a chance to beat the Knights here tonight.
Yeah, and even though Christian McLaughlin's getting a little bit of momentum on that defensive end, those 3 turnovers in a row we were talking about, 2 in a row were by him. So he's got to be a little better, a little smarter, reading the defense a little bit better.
And let's see how he and the Wildcats respond to a 12-7 deficit with 8 minutes now on the clock here in the second quarter. It's going to be Zalewski, Zedek, Solomon Hudson, Michael Best, and Jeremy Kim, Miller, Schneider, Murray, Johansson, and Kreidler on for the Knights to start the second quarter, and off we are. And here is Zalewski gonna drive, no good. He's gonna get his own offensive rebound, and he'll get fouled on the second chance.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. Wheeling early on was missing in the season, that they weren't having that much hustle, but since they put in Zalewski, they had a lot better hustle and getting those offensive rebounds.
And they are going to take out Murray for Zelmer. And Murray now has his second foul. Looks like Murray was saying that it was all ball. Only 1 free throw made there from Zalewski. Now the Knights are off and running. Miller over to Schneider. Now Zelmer. Wildcat defense has played pretty well in the first quarter. Not giving the Knights any real shift of momentum that could have provided costly here in this contest. Kreidler, Johansson looked like he had backdoor for a second. They didn't go that way. Miller for 3. No good. Rebound by Zalewski. A nice rebound there from Cade, the 6'3" junior.
Yeah, that's a surprising miss by Miller there. Usually a good spot. Wheeling got away with it going underneath the screen instead of going over the top.
Yes, they did. Best for 3. Yes, and we have a 1-point game. That was a shot. That was near the green line over on the Wheeling court.
8 points for Michael Best, 8 of this team's 11.
And now there's going to be a hand check called likely on Brandon Zedek, who was reaching for the hands of John Kreidler. David Reed and Joe Jordan check in for the Wildcats. Looks like Wallach is back in for the Knights, taking the spot of Jack Schneider. Knights wearing their Columbia blue uniforms that I think they got at the end of a couple years ago. Wildcats in their home whites with the nice, I don't know what type of blue that is, but it's a nice blue. Zelmer on the layup is good.
Yeah,
and now Kim almost,
nice
careful, TJ Johansson was just standing there.
Yeah, nice give and go between Miller and Zelmer there to get the ball for an easy layup there.
Jordan's gonna try and drive up there, no good. Looks like he was trying to draw a foul there, and Mike O'Keefe is describing that to the official. And Zelmer up, no. Rebound Jordan, and he'll get called for a push. And Wheeling will get the ball after that foul call.
It was a nice try to hustle there, but Jordan had the position on him, and just not a smart idea to go for it.
Best is going to take a breather here. It looks like Solomon Hudson, the sophomore guard, back in for the Wildcats, and that is just not the right turnover to have. Zedek and Kim looked like they were off pace just a bit.
Yeah, it looked like Kim zigged while Zedek zagged on that pass.
Maybe a little confused. He thought Kim was cutting. Just didn't cut the way he thought. Miller's got to be careful. And now he gets it to Zelmer. A lot of motion here for the Knights offense. And Miller will put it up. That's good. And now it's a 17-11 game for the Knights.
Yeah, it seems a little bit of Miller's bread and butter, trying to get in those screens and getting wide open looks.
Missed that first time. Did not fail to execute on the second time. Jordan. Wheeling's got to maybe put sticky glue on their hands. It's been a little wobbly here. And there's almost another turnover. But Joe Jordan on a nice move. Looks like he made sort of like a spin move there. Going up for the layup. And a carry is going to be called on the Knights. And a turnover there. Maybe something to get the Wildcats. Maybe a chance to get them.
Yeah, it was a nice play.
Right back with the Knights.
Yeah, it was a nice play by Jordan, regaining control of the ball and still fighting it up there and still getting it in. And then absolutely he's trying to shift the momentum back into Wheeling's favor. Now down to a 4-point game.
You know what's great? There's more basketball tonight. Following tonight's game will be the secondary on the schedule tonight, as it'll be prime time with the girls basketball programs of both schools, Wheeling and Prospect, with the Knights winning the first meeting over at Prospect. Hudson very careful nearing the line. Best gonna put it up on Miller. Yes! And we have a 1-point game, as it looks like the Wheeling student section's trying to dust up the floor, and John Camarella would like a talk.
In the past 2 games we've had on air, Michael Best has just been red hot. The last game that we had against Elk Grove, 31 points of the team's 67 in their win over Elk Grove.
He's had a good night tonight, 11 points already, and we're not even through 2 quarters of play. We're not even through halfway in the second quarter, and he's made a big impact. 17-16 Knights, timeout Prospect with 4:42 left.
And this is what Wheeling really has to do to be successful, is just really feed their star, feed their potential D3 athlete, Michael Best, and just give him the ball and let him go to work.
Definitely a talk about this experienced Wheeling Wildcats team with Best and Zedek and Kim leading the way. That's definitely something that they have for an advantage, that they have the experience in those 3 guys against the Knights who've learned, and they've learned in a very nice way, starting 5-0, I guess, in the MSL East. That's not a bad way to start your varsity careers, primarily as starters. That does the job, but I think the Knights really benefited from the Hersey win at Buffalo Grove last week, because Buffalo Grove was the only other team besides Rolling Meadows with a single line in the loss column.
That definitely benefits them and their chances trying to win the MSL East for sure. And just throughout this game, Prospect has had some good stretches. They just haven't been able to put it together for long enough to put Wheeling away.
Yeah, that's what Wildcats have been playing. Really good defense here today. And there's another example, as Michael Best almost got that. Very good speed as well for the guy standing 6'2".
I think what has also helped is that they're not playing as 5 individual guys on the court. They're playing as a unit, and a little bit of defensive switching and to go along with that to kind of help each other out.
That makes them tough to beat. Zelmer and Woloch's going to knock it down. And now here is Best working on Zelmer. And Dedek is going to drive. He goes up. That's good. Nice shot there from Zedek. And we're back to 1. I don't think this will be the last change of leads maybe tonight. Zelmer, that's off. And a rebound by Kreidler. Prospect has done a nice job with the offensive rebounds. Miller for 3. No, that's a wide open shot. Just could not convert. And a moving screen's going to be called on Joe Jordan.
Yeah, I think he's a little frustrated with not being able to get those birds on last possession, and he was still but he kind of got those arms into the defender.
Ben Zelmer there a little bit. He was little, I don't know what the word is, but it looked like he was a little shocked, a little bit maybe.
Yeah.
Like got him a little bit. And now here is Zelmer. Kreidler, an MSL All-Conference player from 1 year ago. Those ceremonies will be held once again this year at the MSL Championship game, but at the East School, which could be one of these two teams. That's off, and a rebound goes to Zedek on a little hot potato-like action there. Solomon Hudson hands it right to Sam Murray, and Murray driving up and good.
Yeah, just a little too. Hudson's been good on the defensive end. He's just not been able to put it together offensively yet, and it was good by Wheeling to get that going, but as he just turned it over again.
What a nice play there. What a play there by Hudson. It looks like he was trying to draw a charge, but Johansson lost control of it. Belongs to the Wildcats anyway.
I think they did call the charge.
I think maybe it was an out-of-bounds play. I don't think they called a foul there.
I saw the referee in the back corner point that way.
I'm not. His hand down. I think that might have been an out-of-bounds call. But either way, it's Wheeling Paul.
Really confusing sort of events.
I don't think. Maybe they should simplify it. Who knows? Kim is gonna give it over to Zedek. Wildcats.
No disagreement for me on that.
Maybe give him a call. And Kim is going to start it up as Best working on Zelmer. Pick set from McLaughlin. Set that pick for an awfully long time. And Zalewski, set the pick, and Zalewski can't hit it. Rebound by Zedek. Here is a shot. Good! We have a tie game on a nice shot from Javen Reed. Now Prospects moving. Zelmer up. Good. Very quick layup. That was a quick turn of events right there.
And I think since we've been doing these broadcasts, that is the first made shot for Javen Reed in a long time. I was talking to him over the past couple of days. He's like, I really want to make a 3-on-1 your broadcast and everything. So
there you go. If you're watching this over tomorrow in film session, congratulations.
Yeah. I'm not sure they watch it over film, but I definitely think they enjoy watching us.
That call was for you. Here's Best. He's going to shoot it again. Oh, my goodness. Hello.
Unconscious from downtown.
I think that was from 25 feet. And Best makes it look like cake, and the Wildcats are back on top. Johansson up. No. Might have forced that one in, and Best with the rebound. Michael Best, 14 points tonight. And good news, he doesn't have a foul yet for the Wildcats.
And it's just, you just got to be kidding me. He had 31 that last game, but this is just nuts.
Kim for three. That's off, and a rebound by Murray. Zelmer driving. Good. Wheeling cannot let that happen.
Yeah, that outside shot has been falling for Prospects, so good for them trying to just get inside and get those easy shots, quick momentum.
That's probably been the biggest key, I think, for them. They've been that outside shooting team, but tonight you're seeing a little more. They're driving into the paint. They're trying to get the nice baskets. And now here is Kreidler with Reed, and no foul called there. But it doesn't matter as the Wildcats get the ball again. All righty. And he went over the line. It's going to be a backcourt call on the Wildcats. And I think Mike O'Keefe would like one of the officials to get a microscope.
Well, I think it was more of a carry potentially, but I'm not sure on that.
Solomon Hudson's in for Jeremy Kim. And Javen Reed is taken out for the moment. And now Johansson will get this. Wow, we already have 12 seconds left. Here in this first half, it's a 25-24 game here at Wheeling between the Wildcats and Knights with the Knights on top. Johansson, Miller gonna put one up for three, no, and that's how we're gonna end the first half. As we do, it's a 25-24 Prospect lead. Definitely some more fireworks to come here in the second half.
Yeah, that was an insane, just insane second quarter. Yeah.
And that's definitely going to be, I'm sure maybe that will be a start for what might be the rest of the evening. Enjoy the halftime, and we shall see you in about 10 minutes. All right. How about that? How you doing?
Matthew, Wyatt, Matthew. Oh, that's right.
It's an honor. I need to take a drink. Holy crap.
But Papa John's boxes. They had Papa
Welcome back to Wheeling High School for the second half of tonight's game. Wyatt Dutrick Jackson Gross from the beautiful Wheeling High School, which we now know makes bottled water. If you want to get some for the girls' game, come on down to Wheeling High School, get their personalized Wheeling Wildcat bottled water. All right.
Not to sound biased, but the most refreshing water I've ever had.
It's certainly delicious. I think Prospect would like a more delicious second half they had a lead change with the Wildcats late in the second half. They really did not get anything going in that second quarter. It looked like the second quarter was all Wildcats, but they still have a 1-point lead.
Yeah, it was good of them to build up that lead in the first quarter and still fight back in between that second quarter. And it's really just been a full game of runs between each team. Many of them have been kind of short, but it's been enough where it gets teams right back into the game.
I think one of the students just shot the ball.
That would be
shot the game ball.
Senior Thomas Pagonis.
Yeah, he almost made it. Give him that.
Yeah,
it looks like Ivan Miro was just going to put the ball back to be taken with the others. That's a game ball. That's one we got to save.
Yeah, he's one of the more, I'll put it nicely, rambunctious of the senior class here at Wheeling High School.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure that turkey chicken combination suit really, I think it fits his personality very well. And I've never met the kid. And
nah, he's a good funny kid.
What a lovely, look at the banner. They have John Kreidler with Peyton Manning faces all over the place. That is quite brilliant.
Looks like a few more pictures of Peyton Manning on that.
You gotta love it. maybe I think that'll
light a fire.
It might garner a chuckle. All in good fun as Murray will take it, and we are on our way here in the second half. And now Miller, Johansson to Murray. Murray shot very well in the game against Buffalo Grove, was lights out, just like Michael Best is shooting tonight. And Murray will put one up. That's off. And a rebound by Solomon Hudson. And now the aforementioned Best almost lost control of it. Zedek gonna go up. No. Rebound by Jordan. A nice offensive rebound to start the half for the Wildcats. Prospect had a couple earlier. Wildcats answered with some in the second quarter. Let's see how that pans out, and looks like it's tipped, and it belongs to the Wildcats.
The aforementioned sign has once again been taken away by our athletic director, Dr. Steve May.
Steve May, yes. Did a fine job running the Hardwood Classic just 3 weeks ago. My goodness, 3 weeks ago.
Time flies.
Goodness gracious. Pretty soon, regional playoffs will start. I think Wheeling will be hosting a regional actually. As it'll happen in February. And Zedek's gonna try, and a foul's gonna be called, I think, on Murray, which will bring up his third and brings out an all-player meeting between the Knights that is shortly lived.
Hey, good hustle right there. Hopefully the hustle doesn't turn chippy like it did in our last broadcast against Elk Grove.
All right, yeah. Elk Grove's been they were chippy with us earlier in the year, and Hudson cannot hold on to the basketball.
I think part of that is their just poor overall record and how they were frustrated throughout that entire game, down by nearly 20 throughout the game.
They chip, I'll say that.
It's good physical, but literally, pardon if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but Michael Ankazar just shoved Cade Zalewski after they were fighting for the ball. So
there was a turnover there. Johansson with the pile of Wildcats. We're going after the ball, and they get the ball, the Wildcats. As a result, did they mop the floor? Looked like TJ Johansson was hearing it from the Wheeling crowd. And now Jordan at the top. And he'll give it to Kim, and they'll restart. 6:25 left. We still have no scoring here in the second quarter. They've had chances. And Jordan goes up. Yes! And Wheeling has the lead again. That's their first points of the half, and the first points of the half overall. Wildcats have their, I think third lead tonight.
Yeah, not a whole ton of leads, but still in this game, which is good for them.
Zelmer is going to be fouled by Jordan. Jordan thought he went straight up. Apparently not.
Yeah.
And Zelmer will go to the line for a pair.
Yeah, Zelmer's been real aggressive so far for Prospect, leading their team in points with 12, as with Michael Best on the Wheeling side with 14. One of the people you kind of think that would kind of trying to get going is John Kreidler. Only 2 points so far in 2 minutes into the
he's had a big roll
third quarter.
Yeah, he's had a big roll this year. Big roll last year, of course, and now some noise is being made from the student section.
Zelmer unfazed.
I don't think Zelmer got really, and Kim is going to inbound it, and it's a push. It's going to be called, I think, on Johansson, and Wheeling will get the ball back. Jordan's going to inbound it here with 5:59 left, only 1 second off that play clock. Give it over to Zedek, had a little bit open. Wheeling's got a, now Wheeling's off to the races, almost outshot Michael Best, and Hudson's going to go up in a hard foul. It's going to be called someone. Let's hope Solomon Hudson's okay. Looks like he's getting up and he's moving. That foul's going to be called on Zelmer.
Glad
that
to
was
see.
A hard foul on Zelmer.
Yeah, glad to see he's okay. For those who don't know, on the girls' side, Wheeling just lost Morgan Collar to either a torn MCL or ACL.
I heard about that. That's terrible. Hudson knocks down the first, and we are even just like we started. Except now both teams have 27 on the board.
Considering how this game's gone, are you really surprised that it's gone back and forth like this?
I think Wheeling just has played, they've played with more energy. That first time they just ran out of gas, I think, in that first quarter, and it was too much to climb. They have played a really, really complete game, and a block's going to be called on Hudson. Call made right away by the official on the baseline. Second foul for Hudson, second of the quarter for the home team. Looks like Tom Antoj, the assistant coach for Wheeling, directing the defense, and I'm sure he's going to like that. As a nice turnover there, Joe Jordan ending up with the ball. And now here is Kim. Pivoting, here's Zedek for three. That's no. And a rebound goes to Zedek. He's got a layup, and he's got it. What a series for the Wildcats. Offensive rebound and the layup, and they have a 2-point lead. Murray almost thought about taking that. Now Johansson will drive. Here's Kreidler. That's his 4th point. As you mentioned, a timeout taken by John Camaradella.
Yeah, both keys going forward, as we mentioned, is Wheeling offensive rebounding continues to be a strong point for them, as and now Prospect trying to go into Kreidler.
Prospect has not lost an MSL East game since I think 2 years ago, or I think 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago, at Hersey.
Wow.
At the Ken Carter Gymnasium, and John Camaradella was thrown out of that game.
Wow.
That was the last time Prospect lost an MSL East game. They have won, I think. They've won at least 15 straight, I think.
Wow.
They won all 10 last year. So they got a 15-plus MSL East win streak going. But they have had some really good competition these past couple of years with Rolling Meadows. Obviously, Buffalo Grove had a good team last year. They got another good chance this year. The Wildcats have become a lot more competitive. Elk Grove is even chippy. I think you could say that about them. And Hersey's just been there. Hersey's been there. They've been the same team that they were under with Joey Cafaro and company.
I had no idea. Thank you for enlightening us on that, and just speaks to the testament of not only the continuity of all the players, but the great leadership within the Prospect organization, going all the way from head coach John Cardella all the way down to the last freshman B player, and how good they have gone
Who knows,
together.
maybe the last freshman B player will be starring on one of these courts one day.
I wish that was me. I played freshman B ball back in the day, since I'm a senior, but
there you
those
go.
dreams did not materialize, so I'm up here.
You're up here. See, you're up here talking with me instead of on there talking to Prospect players who probably want to block the heck out of you. And there is a turnover there from the Wildcats. And now Zelmer is off and running. Here's Murray for three, no good. And a rebound by who? It's gonna be a travel coming down to the ground. And Grant Tiskus is asking whether Wheeling had contact. I think he had contact with his own player. Tiskus is trying to fire the Knights up. Coming off the bench here for his first minutes of the night. Jordan's got to get it in and gets it into Best, and now he's running. Best driving, and will this foul be on the ground? It's going to be on the ground. So Wheeling will get it at the baseline.
Those would be, as Michael O'Keefe calls it, players going 100 miles an hour right there from coast to coast.
I think it helps he plays football. And now here is Best. Miller left his foot, and a foul's going to be called, I think, on Grant Tiskus for a hold. I think Best might have wanted to take that shot right there, as he had Miller going to O'Hare Airport.
Had him flying out of the gym, if you will.
That was an interesting pass there from Jordan. And now here is Best. That's off. Might have been the first time we said he's been off tonight.
That was quite a bad miss off the far side of the rim.
Murray with Kim, and he knocks it down. Murray all over Jeremy Kim there, and now somebody's got to inbound it for the Wildcats, and that problem is solved without any issue.
Yeah, good.
Jordan's got to be careful and not cross the line, and now that might have actually helped as Best is driving, but he just loses control of the ball, and that's a costly turnover there for the Wildcats.
And that last play, good by Murray to use his size and weight advantage. About 2 inches taller and over 30 pounds heavier than the 5'10", 150 Jeremy Kim.
Yeah, it's a little height-weight ratio right there.
And it looks like
Jerry Cook is pumping up the crowd here. Principal here at Wheeling High School, and a block by Joe Jordan. And now he's got to get across the line with Wolak going right after him. Looks like the big cat got the crowd excited here.
That's one of his signature things Mr. Jerry Cook does. He does that at every assembly here at Wheeling High School, so not unusual to see.
And a charge is going to be called on the Wildcats.
Wow.
I think Ben Zelmer just got his ankles absolutely twisted and like a Frenchman pretzel. And he's giving a nice chuckle out of it.
I think
he's laughing at that one because he knows it.
I think the Wheeling crowd and Michael O'Keefe are saying that one of the prospect players slapped Hudson's arm, and that's what caused them to careen in for the charge.
Talked about Ben Miller going to O'Hare Airport. I think Ben Zelmer just went straight to the ground. That was a nice little ankle breaker there for the Wildcats. It's 31-29 here in favor of the visiting team with 3:25 left in the third quarter. Can you believe it? We still got 8 minutes left of basketball after this. Wolak turned over, and it belongs to Wheeling. Both teams have been a little sloppy as of last couple minutes.
Yeah, both teams have had their sloppy moments throughout this game, so they got to clean it up if they want to get this dub.
That's going to be tipped up. And Miller, it looked like he crossed the line.
Oh, wow, that's a big missed call.
Yeah, it looked like he crossed it there, and a block by Joe Jordan. That's his second block in as many possessions.
Looks like that no call didn't matter.
I don't think it. This Wheeling crowd's getting excited. Here is a shot. That's off from McLaughlin. And now Miller to Zelmer. He's got a wide open lane up, and a charge is going to be called on Zelmer, and he's all over Christian McLaughlin. But some nice sportsmanship there from the Prospect Knights. And it looks like McLaughlin
looks like McLaughlin's a little gimpy.
I think he's got to get up. They got to get him off the court, I think. He's
looks
a tough
like that's
kid,
what
but
we're
I
gonna
think,
do.
yeah. It's like Javen Reed's going to come on in. Yeah, make sure he gets off the court, make sure he's okay. That's of the utmost importance to the Wildcats, but that was a nice charge taken by McLaughlin.
I want to give a quick shout out to Javen Reed and Eric Conrath for giving me little tidbits on Wildcats almost every day at lunch. So thank you for them making my job a little bit easier.
Makes your job a little easier. And they do a great job. And now Kim's going to get over the line to Reed. Maybe he'll have 2 threes tonight. Who knows?
For his sake, hopefully.
I'm sure he'd be thrilled. Best. Reed with Murray on him. Kim. Oh, nice pass to Zalewski. That's up. No, did not hit the rim. Miller's got it, and now Prospect looks like at a wide open lane. Zelmer did not take advantage, and they're going to reset and draw something else up.
I think with the low time left in this third quarter, they're going to try and waste the clock.
Foul's going to be called on somebody from the Wildcats. It's going to be on Zalewski.
Not the point outing, I'm sure Zalewski was holding for 1 point and 2 fouls, but he's definitely helped on the offensive rebounding and just rebounding in general.
They've done a great job on defense as well. Both teams, for that matter. Zelmer is good. Nice little hook there. That's his 16th point of the night. He's got to be careful about fouling. He's got 3, and now Wheeling's got to get it in. And Mike O'Keefe called a timeout. It's going to be a 30-second timeout. Nice timeout there from Mike O'Keefe. That looked like that inbound play was going nowhere.
Yeah. Doesn't that seem to happen all the time, though, is you finally inbound the ball and your coach calls timeout, but probably for the best.
You know, in 9 minutes and 48 seconds, we'll have more basketball, maybe a little longer than that, as Prospect girls will take on Wheeling girls in the matinee, tonight's prime time matchup.
Glad to see the girls in prime time, but it's a little odd switch right in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
And then in a week or two from now, the boys are going to be back in the prime time. So
sophomore boys will start playing at 6 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
I know Prospect had to play a game at Buffalo Grove on Tuesday night instead of playing Buffalo Grove at Buffalo Grove, I think, in a couple weeks. Zedek can run the baseline. That's something that the official just mentioned. He can move around the baseline. Yeah. Here he goes. Reed.
Ooh.
Hello. That was a nice early birthday present for that official.
Oh, wake-up call. Make sure he's paying attention.
I think he's earning that game check he is making tonight. And now Best, they are really moving. Here's Zalewski up and lays it in. Back to 2. And it looks like Chewbacca's in the Wheeling Cat Pack stands are excited as well. Murray's got a wide open 3 and hits it.
Yikes.
Can't not let him that open. And now Prospect has its biggest lead in a while.
Yeah, it looks like Zalewski and Zedek were both trying to guard Kryler. No one picked up Murray.
That's his bread and butter, that shot right there. Kim, floater, no, and a rebound by Zalewski. He's going to go up, and the bucket. He's going to get fouled. Maybe that's Wheeling finds a way.
Just what
great
an
effort.
Fusion of momentum Zalewski has brought ever since going into that Palatine game, scoring the last 4 points.
This is 3-game win streak you said earlier for the Wildcats. Caramello does not look too thrilled right now with his roster.
Yeah, especially with his senior guard with 4 fouls, Sam Murray.
They have a sub in. Murray's going to be coming out. Prospect has not lost a MSL East game in over a year and a half of MSL play. They were the participants in the last 3 MSL championship games. They won 1 of them, and that was against Barrington. Last year lost to Conant and Friend in the other years. Johansson in and out, and now maybe Wheeling will take the last shot here in the third quarter.
I think with about 40 seconds left, that's probably going to be the move.
I don't think they're listening to us as Best over to Zedek. No, rebound by Zalewski and knocks it down. Right off the miss there from Zedek, and a foul's going to be called on Wheeling. But wow, the effort that has been put up by Cade Zalewski tonight, remarkable. And we're going to have another substitution, I think a first minutes of the day for Eric Conrath. Wow. That was some nice substitution. Nice job there, just
going back to the conference records, I take a look at Max Preps. As you say, Prospect the 5-0 record. Wheeling has a 2-4 record.
This is their season right here.
Yeah, they're looking to creep up on Rolling Meadows, Buffalo Grove, and Hersey, who are all at 3 and 2.
What a pass there from Ben Zelmer. Went right through the legs of a Wheeling defender and goes right to the hands of John Kreidler. And for an easy 2 for the Knights. Here's Kim, 36-38. Wheeling trails. 8 seconds left here in the third quarter. Kim will put one up. Yes! Hello! And now Wheeling has a lead. Miller up, no. And the Wildcats have a 39-38 lead at the end of 3. Wow, what a turn of events that last minute.
As you mentioned earlier, when Prospect had that 5-point lead, Wheeling answers right back and has gotten a 6-point swing to a 1-point lead. This is the most excited I've seen a Wheeling crowd against Prospect in a long time.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be like this for the future. And wow, what a change in just a span of a couple possessions. Wheeling with all of it, and now it looks like the Turkeys might be giving some advice to the Wheeling side.
Like Spanish teacher Michael Bosco, one of the student favorites.
We're just student favorites. I'm sure he's some of the players' favorites, as that crowd has been rowdy tonight, even though they might not have even exceeded 30 people. But that is a very impressive pajama party, I'd say.
Yeah, just getting back to Prospect. This is where they have to prove why they're 5-0 in the MSL East. They're on the road. They're only down by 1, but the other team has the momentum. The crowd's into it. This is where they got to prove that, hey, we are 5-0 for a reason.
And they got to. We haven't really seen. I've seen Prospect close out a really close game, I think, once this year, and that was that Hersey game that was neck tight the whole game. This is probably the closest a team has played Prospect this year, and I didn't think a lot of people thought Wheeling would do it. But this Wheeling Wildcats team has played great defense, and they have frustrated Prospect shooting outside the basketball.
Yeah,
because they're making Prospect go inside, and I think you're seeing it's a different Prospect team when they're forced to go inside instead of shooting from the outside part.
A testament to Wheeling coaching staff adjusting from those 6 weeks the last time these teams suited up against each other.
Hasn't felt like 6 weeks. It's maybe felt like 2, but these teams, they're going to be going at it. And Best is going to be called for a foul, to the extreme dismay of John Camardello. That's a big one because Wheeling is now shooting in the bonus.
It's key for them right now, and I'd like to give a quick shout out to our staff right now. Got a couple of freshmen on our camera people tonight. We got Matthew Posner and Jared Freeman on our cameras. Another senior, Jared Moser, our assistant producer for tonight. One of your colleagues, Amanda Stickles, is our producer tonight. And
everybody, you don't see them, but they do an unbelievable job with this broadcast. They deserve.
You don't see them, but this makes it, watching on YouTube, very enjoyable.
Zelmer gets the and one, and he'll have one more free throw left.
That's one of the big momentum plays in basketball overall, the and one. It's just a big play for Prospect to get back to get this lead.
Now he will shoot for one. Maybe that'll get Prospect something. And apparently dogs have entered the Wildcat gym. Okay then.
Wouldn't surprise me if they start playing the Baja Men hit, Who Let the Dogs Out.
Oh God. Oh my. Schneider, who's on Hudson there, and now here's Zedek. Wildcats down by 2. The lead it's been anyone's guess here tonight. Best gonna put one up. That's off. And a rebound by Zelmer with Jordan going to the floor. Here is Johansson going quick. He's gonna drive on Hudson. Then decides to give it to Kreidler. Jordan leaves his feet, but a double dribble is gonna be called on Kreidler. And I don't think he understands why that was called.
Oh, confusion. Yeah, Wheeling once again got away with that because surprised Joe Jordan jumped up like that in a
he was going to Midway
shot.
He was going to Midway Airport. Other direction.
And Prospect has O'Hare, but Wheeling has Midway.
All right, who would have thought this would be the conversation tonight? But we're here, and all right. And now here's Best. Hudson. Jordan drives, and he'll get 2 on the shot.
Another rim out as this game has progressed.
That crowd, that went in. This crowd would have gone absolutely nuts.
Maybe let a little air out of the ball.
Yeah. Jordan is a southpaw shooter. This is a lot of southpaws here today. Johansson, Zelmer, Schneider, and Jordan. As Jordan knocks down the first, and we're down to a 1-point game.
I hate to admit this, but the 6 games I've broadcasted, I have never noticed that.
Interesting. Really? You've never noticed Joe Jordan's a lefty?
No.
Use that lefty form to knock down.
You got a better eye than me.
Saw him last year as a freshman. I'm like, wait, that's a lefty freshman. That's interesting. And now here's another lefty, Zelmer, on fellow southpaw Jordan, but it's blocked. And what a pass by Zelmer.
Wow.
Schneider. That's his second time he's done that. Go right through the legs.
Yeah,
and knocks it down for a prospect 2.
I was looking more to throw it off one of the Wheeling players, and kind of got a little lucky finding someone that open to get the bucket.
Impressive to do it once. That is really, really talented to do it twice. Kim now with Schneider working with them. Solomon Hudson, Best. It looked like Zelmer left. Kim. And Schneider, a lot of nice defense there for the Knights. Hudson up, and no, and he'll get 2 from the line with a chance to tie the game once again.
Yeah, another player who's been struggling offensively, Solomon Hudson. These are 2 big free throws. Yes, there's 5:46 left, but you want to knock these down and keep it a tied game. Yeah, it's only 2 points, it's 1 possession, but being tied is a heck of a lot better than being down 2.
Don't let this prospect team get any more momentum than they did on that nice Zelmer pass, and I think Wheeling and the officials are talking to Mike O'Keefe and his staff about what they're doing with the free throw line, and Hudson misses the first. He's got 1 more.
Key for Wheeling going forward is to be aggressive, as they're going to be in the double bonus for the last 5:46.
You got to go for the win. You can't try not to lose. You got to go for the win here. For the Wildcats, aggressiveness will definitely help. Now Miller, and I think the same can be said about Prospect. They do not want to fall to Wheeling here tonight with a game against Hersey next week at home.
Yeah, because
if the Hersey Huskies could get back into this race, and all Prospect needs to do is lose once to Meadows or to BG, and they're out of the East, and 1 for the Knights as Kreidler drives in. And we talked about him needing a big impact. That's probably his biggest basket of the night.
Yeah. Speaking of which, if going back to the record, Prospect would be 5-1, and if Hersey wins that next matchup, it'd be 5-2 against a potential another 5-2 squad.
Kreidler misses, and it's a 1-possession game. That is huge. That's pretty big.
That's tough.
Yeah. The way Wheeling has shot the ball outside tonight, no lead is safe. Miller's going to get called for a hold. That'll be his 3rd foul. That's his 4th foul, excuse me. So someone.
2 key players in foul trouble.
You know who's not in foul trouble?
Actually,
Michael Best is not in foul trouble.
Wow, only 1 foul. Good disciplined play. Interesting to note, Michael Best has not scored in this half.
That's right, yeah.
And that
missed the first free throw.
Continues to be the case.
He's got to be big if they want to. They want to pull off this win. He has got to be a key factor. Maybe he's got to be the factor.
I thought with that first half he was going to easily eclipse that 31-point mark against Elk Grove.
He's almost halfway there as he knocks down his 15th point, and now it's a 2-point game.
If he gets 17 points in 5 minutes, we're going to see some Tracy McGrady stuff out here.
We're going real throwbacks here with the Tracy McGrady reference. And now here's Kreidler. Up, no, rebound, Prospect.
Ooh.
Wheeling, that's where they have wobbled it a little bit. Zelmer for 3, and he knocks it down.
just out of the grasp of Zedek and Zalewski, and a big shot by Zelmer.
And that makes that Wheeling not getting the hand, or Prospect not getting their hands on it, makes it that much more critical. And they got to find a way back in. Let's see what Wheeling does here. Down 5. This is their tied for, I think, the biggest deficit, and since that first half. And now Kim is driving, almost off the elbow of Ben Miller. Here is Zalewski for 3. That does it.
Answers back.
And we have a timeout called by Wheeling, and we're back to the 2-point game. Hello.
The momentum booster continues to boost momentum.
Isn't that what a momentum booster is supposed to do?
Yeah, but he hadn't played really until that Palatine game, and all of a sudden,
the Wheeling Wildcats are winning.
He's been their best bench player. I mean, you gotta be kidding me.
I don't think we talked. I didn't think we might have said his name maybe twice in that broadcast we had earlier 6 weeks ago. But he has been, with that effort and now that key 3-point shot to bring the game back within 2 and get the Wildcats some more energy. Wow, what a shot! What a shot
I am literally shaking right now.
Please stay calm.
You got to understand, with how many of the other Wheeling teams I've gone through since I've been here, we've had good players. We've just never been able to put it together against some of these good teams like Prospect or Hersey or anything.
I think I'm kind of spoiled. I think I'm a little spoiled.
A little bit. So
I think I've seen 3 MSL.
You've seen a lot of
I've seen 3 MSL championships in my 3 full years covering the team.
We're lucky to get over 500 over here. So this is uncharted territory.
We have the same number of playoff appearances though. We have 1 each. So I think that was your freshman year that Wheeling made the playoffs under Brent Perlman.
Yeah, wow, that was a long time ago. Well, actually, no, that was a couple years ago.
2 years ago? I've lost.
It was either sophomore or junior.
I've lost track.
It's been a long 4 years.
It's been oh yeah. Now Kreidler, there's somebody open for Prospect. It's Zelmer, and Zelmer will just say hello to Jeremy Kim, and we'll get the easy layup with 4 minutes left here in the 4th quarter. It's a 50-46 game wide. Utrecht Jackson Gross from Wheeling High School, and now this 4th quarter to determine whether Prospect will stay perfect or will have a tally mark in their loss column in divisional play. Here's Kim to Best. He has been on fire in that first half, has not had the same here. And here's Hudson for 3, no over the backs, but a foul's gonna be called. It's gonna be called, I think, on Prospect.
Wow, I think they're calling a hook.
Already. It's gonna be a hold on John Kreidler.
Oh my goodness.
And he cannot believe it. He's screaming. John Caramello better be careful.
Wow.
He's going to get teed up if he keeps talking.
What a call.
That's huge because Wheelings now could get back within 2. I don't think Prospect.
Looks like our producer, Amanda, cannot believe what's going on.
Remember the last time the Prospect Knights lost an MSL East game? John Caramello was thrown out.
Ooh.
And he misses the first free throw.
Got to knock these down. These are big. 3:37 left.
3:37 left. Prospect. Now they're going to probably get even more fired up after that hold call. And it's a 1-possession game for the Knights. And he's still arguing. I think Caramello, he still can't believe it. I think before the shot, he might have been a grab. But what we saw from up here probably looked like an over the back, just depending on the timing. Johansson for 3, that's good. We have a 6-point.
Oh, man.
And that's Prospect's largest lead of the evening. And up is Zelmer.
Oh, man.
What a turn of events. We talked about them being fired up. Maybe it's a jump ball, and it belongs to the Knights.
Wow.
Just talked about frustration. I think the Knights are showing it right here.
It was.
A timeout's taken by John Camaradella.
The outside shooting has not been for Prospect this entire game. And 2 threes back-to-back and a costly turnover. And what was once a 3-point lead is ballooned quickly to 8.
It just took one in, and Wheeling is, I think we haven't talked about this much, but Wheeling has really struggled inbounding the ball. They've had to be real creative, and it's gone their way tonight. But now they got to find a way to just inbound the ball safely. But they can't turn the ball over like they have so far.
Good for
in this final
Prospect,
quarter.
as we talked earlier, digging deep and saying this why they're 5-0. And on the flip side, Wheeling, they got to show why they've been in this game. They can't just falter with 3 minutes to go.
How do the Wildcats respond here is going to probably determine the winner of this game. Do they respond positively, or do they respond completely in a negative way? Who knows?
They just got to.
Girls game's just about to start in about 3 minutes and 7 seconds plus some added time to warm up. If that game has any type of this excitement of this magnitude, I think it is going to be a fun one. But how will Wheeling respond here with an 8-point deficit with 3:07 left in the fourth quarter? The stakes could not be higher for Wheeling. Any chance of them hosting the MSL championship game resides on this game. And a lot of help along the way. Prospect's now going to start using the clock, which they've done very well this season.
Yeah, this game is very similar to the football version between Prospect and Wheeling, when their both seasons came down to that game.
Wheeling made that ferocious comeback late. They just fell short to the Knights in that game at George Gaddis Memorial Stadium. Now we're indoors. Johansson up, and we are at a double-digit lead. And I think if you're the Hersey Huskies and you're watching this, this is how you frustrate Prospect. Make them drive inside tonight. Drive inside. I think that's how you get them to be a little uncomfortable. And here is Zalewski, not lucky on that one.
Well, off to the right on that shot, hit on the near side of the rim. Prospect really looking to milk this clock.
Wheeling is going to probably start to foul pretty soon. 2:05 left, they're down double digits, and a foul is going to be called there in the bonus. Still to shoot here with the chance to make it 11 or perhaps 12. TJ Johansson at the line. That's off. A rebound to Joe Jordan. That 6'3" height of his definitely did not hurt there. And now Best, they got to get over. They got to be careful not to get over. And they do get over. Best driving up. Good. What a floater there. Surprise wheel here in the front court. And now Mike O'Keefe's calling him to. And now Schneider, they just got to conserve. They got to start fouling, I think, right about now to get the ball back. Ball Prospect's doing is draining the clock, and they're going to foul there. Zalewski.
Yeah, you just got to make sure you foul the right person.
And they'll foul Jack Schneider.
Down to an 8-point Prospect lead with about 1:28 to go.
Fourth quarter here. University of Mississippi or University of just missed the shot is what the Wheeling crowd is chanting, and it's back to 9. 3-possession game here for the Knights, and they can make it 4 with the made free throw, which they do. Mike O'Keefe's got 2 timeouts left. I would not be surprised if he uses one in maybe a minute or 2.
I think
Wildcats have fought hard here against Hersey, because Hersey plays Rolling Meadows tonight in basically the season for them. And Zedek knocks it down, and Mike O'Keefe will use a timeout.
Big shot.
Back to 7 points. Still a 3-possession game for the Knights, but definitely some more.
7's looking a lot better than 10.
I think 7 is better than 10 in most cases.
So,
unless you are talking about runs in baseball or score in football or a lot of other things.
Wheeling has just they gotta get steals. They can't even just get like stops. They gotta get steals and just try and make this a quick transition game, because that's where they've really been working well. They've worked well in the half court, but a lot of their points have come when they don't take an exuberant amount of time to get a shot up.
So we have 1:13 left here in the fourth quarter. 59-52 in favor of Prospect. It was not like this, though, the whole game. I think the score does not really tell the game story, with Wheeling getting a lead at the end of the third quarter. And it just a string of events. A missed shot, missed free throw there from Zalewski, and Prospect used a couple of Wheeling turnovers against them. And it has been all night since. But now maybe the Wildcats can gain some life.
And I think Wheeling just has to try and feed off the crowd again. I know it hasn't gone their way the past couple of minutes, but they got to start feeding off that crowd again, getting the energy from them.
We still got a lot of time left. 113, 7-point game. I have seen much crazier things.
Couple of quick threes, you don't know.
Wheeling's got to start fouling. I don't think you want to foul Ben Zelmer. Looks like he had an open Kreidler. They got to start fouling like right about now.
Yep, minute 03.
Right now. Right now, they got to go.
Well,
I don't know why they're not fouling yet. They're down by 7 points with 55.
Got to foul.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know if it's quick passing.
Jack Schneider's wide open right there. And he's going to get called.
They should have fouled about 20 seconds ago.
That should have been done with about a minute 05.
And they fouled Kreidler. Probably.
Kreidler's one of their best shooters.
Fouled TJ Johansson, who missed on that last time they fouled. That's going to be double bonus regardless.
And he knocks it down. It's an 8-point game. I don't know why they didn't foul right away. It's an interesting decision there from Mike O'Keefe. Maybe if they fall by 2, who knows? That might be coming to question. Kreidler makes it a 3-possession game, but they need all threes in order to get to that 9-point deficit that they find themselves in. Best goes up and will be fouled. 2 shots with 41.3 left.
That was good. Quick down the court. Only took about 6 seconds off the clock. Trying to get back to a 7-point game.
Jordan and Hudson are going to be checking back in for the Wildcats in just a moment, as Best will knock down the first. I think the Prospect Knights responded to the adversity. Someone's got to get off the court for Wheeling. They'd have 6 men on the court.
Oddly, taking out Zalewski, one of their better rebounders so far on this free throw.
Maybe they have confidence at Best to make this free throw. They don't have to worry about that.
Absolutely.
Does he do just that? He does. We have a sub, Joe Jordan, in for Reed. 41.3 left. And I think Wheeling is going to foul. I still don't know why they're not fouling.
Come on, there you go.
They got to do it right now, and they do. With about 37.1 seconds. Very lucky that clock did not move a little faster than it did.
Yeah, 4 seconds off
4
the clock
seconds,
on
that's not bad.
round.
And now Johansson is going to be shooting 2. And that foul was called, I think, on Hudson. We're going to have a nice discussion. And they'd like somebody. Not sure John Camaradella knows that this isn't a timeout.
Big free throws for Johansson, trying to keep Wheeling out of it with 37 seconds left and up by 7.
Johansson knocks it down.
That's a big one.
And let's see if he can knock it down 2. I think it might have been that, maybe that first quarter, those turnovers early, that really sealed the Wildcats' failure tonight.
Yeah, they just, we missed a second, but yeah.
Missed a second. It's an 8-point game, still 3 possessions, and they got to hurry it up.
But
they got to get Best for 3, no. Rebound Johansson, and that might just all but seal it up.
Yeah. It was a tough shot, not the best shot in the world, but.
You got no choice with about 30 seconds left.
And that's down by that much.
Yeah, and he didn't miss it. Yeah, you're right. He did not miss it by that much. So it looks like Prospect is on their way to a 6-0 start in the MSL East. It's a second straight year they've done that.
Misses the first. But
maybe, who knows? Maybe we have a massive 8-point swing in 26 seconds.
Who knows?
Prospect had that 7-point swing in like 10 seconds. It's now a 9-point
definitely,
game.
I think that might seal it, but definitely credit to Wheeling giving Prospect their best punch.
This is probably the closest a team has played to the Knights all year. And I'm sure Hersey might change that next week. Zedek's got to put one up. Foul's going to be called a late foul. They're going to be shooting 2 at the line. Maybe just ice, maybe just some added layers to the cake.
I don't know how realistic this would be, but maybe try and make the first and try and miss the second, get the rebound and a quick score. I don't know.
Maybe they have a 9-point play in there. Who knows?
Only if.
7
We're
lane.
the Harlem Globetrotters who need the 4-point shots.
7 lane violations. But again, that would not be likely.
Took maybe a couple Penguins to do something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe they got to move their feet like a little early. Zedek is going to miss the second, but a not big rebound there from Jordan. He goes up. No, that's a big one. He's going to get fouled. That's got a chance for 2. And who knows? Maybe we're down to 6. That's a 2-possession game. Couple misses from Prospect, then you got to.
If he can make both in a quick foul, couple quick threes, highly unlikely, but
who knows? Again, we have seen crazier.
Yeah, we have.
It's going to be, now it's a
I don't know.
7-point game, that's 1.
I don't know if you're here, but we had, I believe, a double overtime game between Waukegan and Fremt, who ended up finishing second in the tournament.
Someone's got to get the ball. It's going to be Prospect. They're going to foul, and that's going to probably do it. As with about 7 seconds left, it looks like Prospect will head to 6-0 on the East. And their record, but they have not lost. They have not won.
Wheeling's going to fall to 2-5 on the MSLE, 6-12 overall. Prospect will get over 500 and go to 10-9.
10-9. They have not. They are 6-0 against MSL East opponents, 4-9 against everyone else.
Yikes!
But at the end of the day, when you play regionals, you don't play. You'll play a team from the MSL East probably, but you won't. Not probably in the regional final. They had a New Trier. They faced New Trier in the regional final last year, but Best's gonna put one up. That's off. Time will expire, and that'll do it for tonight's festivities. So it's the Knights who prevail and go to 6-0 in the East. As Jackson said, 10-9 in overall. So for Jackson Gross, Wyatt Tutrick saying so long from Wheeling High School. 64-56 in favor of the team wearing Columbia blue, that being the Prospect Knights. Stay tuned for more action as the Varsity girls are playing prime time. 7:30 basketball coming up next.
Good evening, excuse me, I almost said good morning. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live here from Wheeling High School, live on YouTube at WCAT Live, as we bring you the primetime event, the girls varsity game between the Prospect Knights and the Wheeling Wildcats. If you missed it, Wheeling put on quite a show against Prospect, but ended up losing by 9. I had Wyatt Jojic, a Prospect student, on with me. This time, I got a fellow Wheeling student to help me along with this, fellow senior Jared Moser.
What's up, guys? Hi. I was, last game I was assistant producing. Got a little upgrade for this one. But this should be a great matchup here. We see Prospect. We got the Knights, who have a pretty solid boys team. I'm not too familiar with their girls side, but based on programs in the past, the girls and boys side pretty much is a mirror image of each other usually. So we're looking for a very competitive game from the Knights. And on the girls' side, they're just a super athletic team. Not very overpowering height, size, and strength, but they're very smart with the ball and they play very conservative. So if the Knights struggle with consistency, shot making, or rebounds in general, the Wildcats will have a better chance in this matchup.
Yeah, hopefully they get better in some of those aspects. They didn't have the cleanest game against Elk Grove in our last broadcast, so hopefully they can clean some things up. If you did not know, they will be out one of their starters for the rest of the year, Morgan Collar, in the last game, a non-contact injury. I believe either tore her MCL or ACL, and she'll be out for the rest of the year.
Yes, was it during practice?
You don't know, it was during actually the game against Elk Grove.
Yeah, she, number 2, 6-foot junior, Morgan Collar came down and did a jump stop, and she has been known to be injury prone in the past, and this is just a devastating loss for the Wildcats and her specifically, because she was having a great season. She was having an impact on this team with height, size, and strength, and superiority since she was a junior upperclassman with that good edge she has. It's a loss, but sometimes you got to move on. I hope she bounces back.
So it looks like it will be Nikki Niznik who will go in for Morgan Collar's spot, as Nosa Igihan, the 6-foot senior, wins the tip. Now over to Helms. Back out to Niznik. Top of the key works now. Over to Helms, drives in. Flips it out to Sam Janulis. Back out to Helms, drives in on the left. Tipped. Recovered. Janulis with the 3. No good. Rebounded by Igihan. Up and good.
That's what she does on this team. She just has such a powerful, strong build, and she just overpowers all the rest of the girls that compete with her.
Yeah, she definitely has the perfect strong build for the center at the the high school girls center position. As now Prospect works it in. Evie Danchu over now to Helen Civilis. Flips it over now to Ashley Adams. Now Dauchu in now, up. Too much on the backboard, no good. Ripped away by Helms. And here comes Rhodes back up the court. Looks over to Janulis for 3, and it's blocked by Danchu.
She didn't really see her coming, I could tell. She, even though she didn't see her, you have to be aware that there are only 4 blue shirts on your side of the court, and you have to be aware where other people are on the court, and that was just a freshman-like play from the freshman Sam Janulis.
Yeah, it's going to take some time to get that all under
control.
control.
And it will.
As now it's into the post to Dancu, up and good. Seems not a lot of outside shooting from these teams in the early going, as both teams scoring from the low post. As now Rhodes works a 3, no good. Rebounded by Kowalczyk. Stephanie Kowalczyk, sister Jessica Kowalczyk, up and good by Ashley Adams. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we only had a combination of 5 threes hit from beyond the arc. Wheeling only had 1 in their entire game against Elk Grove last time out on the broadcast.
And typically, they, at a high school level, especially here at this Wheeling versus Prospect game. Behind the arc isn't the biggest strong suit, especially in high school girls volleyball. Basketball. Sorry about that. And
It's all good.
yeah, that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
As Iggy Han converted the layup on the other end, and it's stolen by Drodes. Over to Janulis. Over to Niznik. Over to Helms. Fakes the three. Over to Janulis. Stolen away
Just a forced
by
pass
Stephanie
there.
Kowalczyk. Stops and pops. No good. Rebounded by Nosa. Here comes Chloe Drodes, the 5'3" junior guard. Quite the diminutive stature for the starting point guard. As it's flipped over to Janulis now, into Iggy Han. Up, and good again. Nosa Iggy Han driving the girls' offense.
Based on what I've seen this season, that is their go-to. If Nosa is off, they're going to have a really tough time. But so far in this game, she is on, and that's what they're going for in this game. They're just going to throw it down low to her and let her rack up that board.
As Ashley Adams flips it over now to Chevelis. Chevelis now works on over. Back to Adams, guarded by Iggy Han. Even into Jessica Kowalczyk, and it's good.
That was a great controlled layup by her. She wasn't even near the basket, actually. It was a pretty forced shot, but it worked out for her because she used the glass in the right way.
Early on here, tit for tat. And this early going 6-6 with 3:51 to go in this first quarter as it's tipped. And a push called by Stephanie Kowalczyk as Nikki Niznik tried to grab the loose ball as 5'1" junior guard Naomi Metellus comes in rather.
Nikki Niznik's going to inbound the ball here, and one of the main reasons why the Wildcats have struggled this season is because they have such a fresh, young team. Like Niznik that just inbounded the ball to Drills. She's a freshman this season, and so is Janulis that just checked out. So they're just going to have it's going to be a couple years or maybe this season to just get used to this different competitive level.
Yeah, 4 freshmen on the starting lineup, starting lineup for the Wildcats as Elliot Dworzик checks in, a brother of the broadcaster who joined me for the boys game, Wyatt Dworzik. Great tradition of family basketball there as Chevelis works in over to Stephanie Kowalczyk. I'm having a hard time with that. Elliot Dworzik. In now to Kowalczyk. In now tipped and stolen by Iggy Han. Now over to Drodes as Coach Matthew Weber looks to slow things down. The Prospect girls are head coached by Marie Miller and assisted by Jim Willis as a blocking foul was called, and it'll be 2 shots potentially for Chloe Drodes. And it will be.
So far, Chloe Drodes has really shown a leadership role on this team in this season. I've seen it on the court and off the court. Since I have the connections to this team, my little sister, Danny Moser, is a freshman on this team. She is number 22 on the bench right now, but I've seen it on and off the court that Chloe Drodes is just so nice to everyone on the team, and she's being a great leader this season.
And one thing, obviously we talked as Drodes makes the second of 2. One thing we talked about or we haven't really talked about is that as it's good by Elliot Dworzik, Christina Perini, the 2-year varsity starter, actually chose to sit out her senior year from basketball and focus on the upcoming track season. So another key big loss as a 3 is hit by Ashley Adams, and a timeout is called by Matthew Weber. 10-7 with 2:32 left in this first quarter of play as the Prospect Knights lead the Wheeling Wildcats. You're watching just a regular old broadcast of Wheeling basketball live from Wheeling High School, live on YouTube at WCAT Live.
I just want to give a quick shout out to our fan section down there. We got some Chewbaccas, we got some Care Bears, we got some Rooster onesies. And that's just dedication right there. You should have seen it during the guys' game. It was wild down there.
Yeah.
But as you can see, they're here for the girls' game.
It's good to see, and especially some of the diehard fans. If you missed it, some would say that John Kreidler on Prospect has an eerie resemblance to one Peyton Manning. So
Hilarious.
the Wheeling fans pulled out a couple of jokes where they brought some Papa John's boxes with a picture of Peyton Manning on the inside as a little playful, hopefully a playful joke on
They
their
always
part.
do something little like that.
Depending on how you look at it, fortunately or unfortunately, they were taken away by our athletic director, Dr. Steve May. As now it's Chevelis in now to Tia Sadlin, a missed shot. Adams has it, loose, ripped away by Helms, and here comes Drodes as Drozek works over. Out to Metellans for three. Rainbow shot is no good as it's rebounded by Helms. Over to Janulis for three. No good, rimming out. Tipped, saved, but not quite as Iggyhan steps out of bounds.
One of my favorite players on this team and on this court, is number 25, and that's Tani Helms. Not necessarily for the boards she puts up and the points she scores, but for her love for her team, her passion for the game, and her aggressiveness. You will never see a ball untouched or a rollaway ball untouched or no effort gone for it anytime. And you saw it in those last 5 plays, and even here, she never stops playing. And that's it's really fun to watch because it gives the game another competitive edge for the Wildcats.
She is definitely a hard worker as Ashley Adams airballs the three. Niznik takes the three off the front of the rim. No good. Rebounded by Iggyhan. Works in. Tipped. And it'll stay with the Wildcats as there's 57 seconds left as Stephanie Kowalczyk will check in for Helen Chevelis.
Let's see if the Wildcats can take the lead going into this half.
Yeah, 57 seconds left. Anything can happen. As Iggyhan works in. Tipped and almost stolen, but recovered by Drodes. And she takes a deep three. Air ball. Oy. As Niznik tried to tip it back in, but to no avail.
A little bit of a forced shot by Drodes. She could have taken it back and actually had the possession until maybe not the half, but for up until close to the half and really worked out a new play. A little bit of a premature shot there.
I understand trying to tie the game, but that's a little deep for her range. Maybe a couple steps in as the shot is missed. And is rebounded by Iggyhan over to Drodes.
Here's what we love. Drodes coming up slowly and trying to organize a slow play to maybe score to get this Wildcats back into it. So they have the momentum going into the second quarter.
Just like we saw in the boys' game, it's been a real close game so far. And talking to some of the students, a lot of people didn't think so. As Helms hoists the three, it hits. Tommy Helms hits the three near the end of the half. As here's a three from Drozek. Almost good off the near side of the rim. And we're at the same, well, not the same score, but we are where we started, a tie game. As it's 10-10 heading into the second quarter of another great Friday night basketball game. This between both varsity girls squads, the Prospect Knights and the Wheeling Wildcats.
And being in competitive sports myself, being the captain for my 18s club volleyball team at Varsity, right now, and if I were Coach Weber or a captain on their team, I'd just tell my younger players, since for me I'm a 17-year-old on a team with more 16-year-olds and one 15-year-old actually. A very young team competing at a high level, and some of them have nerves consistently because they're new to the game. And if I were Weber or a captain on this team, I'd be telling them, hey, score 0-0, take a deep breath, and play for us. Play like we're in practice. Play like you do out in the street pickup ball. And to me, I've seen that work. And I don't know what Weber's saying. I don't want to tell him how to coach. But if that were me, I'd just give him some tips, make it cool the nerves down. Because I see some of the freshmen really heavy breathing and being worried to make a mistake. And
Yeah,
you don't really like to see that, but they'll get loosened up as they get into this season and this game.
You understand the pressure environment of being in a varsity sport, but you got to play within yourself and relax. As just a quick update on their record. Wheeling enters as a 9-11 squad after losing their last couple to Elk Grove and St. Viator. Now they are 9-11 as they enter play tonight, hoping to get back to their winning ways. Last win was a 3-point win on January the 8th against Palatine, 39-26. As Strodes now works in, probing over to Janulus. Looking, nothing doing, tipped, but recovered by Niznik. And as the flip side, pretty much, Prospect is a 11-5 with a 4-2 record in the conference, Wheeling with a in the division, Wheeling with a 1-4. As Strodes flips it over to Igihan. And a foul is called as, wow.
Number 23, Drozdek, is really putting a lot of pressure on Droz here at the top of the key. And you can see, even though it ended up in Prospect fouling, it pulled a lot of time from the clock with her just trying to doing a little, frazzled her a little bit. That's a great drop. That's a great job by number 23, Drozdek on the Knights.
Kayla Byrne as another jump ball is called. Kayla Byrne just checks in. Looking over the past couple games for Prospect, a surprising loss, or not, I don't know, surprising, but loss to Maine South by 4, but an absolute demolition derby against Resurrection, a 49-point victory as Metellans airballs the 3. 71-22 on one of their last games.
Wow, that's all I gotta say about that. Wow.
Yeah, just an offensive and defensive clinic put on by the Prospect Knight girls, as the team in Columbia Blue, to go along with the boys, has the ball. Flipped into the post to Dantu. No good. Rebounded by Drodes.
Is Naomi's last name Matilas or Matias?
Probably us ending. The first part is right. As an offensive foul is called on Igihan. That's her first. And only the team's second, as we're just about 2 minutes through this second quarter of play. No score through this second quarter, as it's still tied at 10. As it's flown into the corner for Jessica Kowalczyk. Over now to Elliot Diocek.
2 minutes scoreless. You don't really see that often. And still 2 minutes scoreless.
And another airball 3 from both sides, as now Kayla Byrne takes the mid-range.
There we go. First shot made in the last 2.5 minutes now in the second quarter.
And we've seen not only just mysteries, but bad misses, airball 3s from both sides. I wonder, I wonder why that is.
I don't think it's really the air balls I'm more concerned with. I'm concerned with the amount of deep threes that they're taking. Like this one that Joe's just took. None of them have fallen yet. And they're not getting any closer. It's not like they're warming up. So I would, if I were a captain or a coach, I would recommend trying to find a new way of scoring, driving more, giving it to Nosa Igehanu, who is your powerhouse down by the paint.
She had 6 points early in that first quarter, and they didn't really go back to her after that.
Let's see how the defense is. Maybe they just lock her up down there. We'll see.
Let's see as Helen Chavelis checks back in for the Knights. Wheeling in their home whites with blue lettering and blue numbers, outlined in black with the Nike logo in the top right corner. Prospect, like I said, in their Columbia blue with white letters and black numbers with also the Nike symbol in the top right corner. Prospect boys have the Jumpman, the Michael Jordan Jordan brand in their top right shoulder. as Caleb Byrne has it now over from Jessica Kowalczyk as Byrne hits the three. A rare three in this game as it's a quick 5 points for Caleb Byrne off the bench.
That was one of those shots that I was talking about that I was saying you should stay away from, actually, but
she's got the range.
They proved me wrong.
As Helms now works on Stephanie. Kowalczyk is loose and recovered, but a foul called on Prospect, much to the dismay of the victorious boys varsity Prospect squad. That's the third on Stephanie Kowalczyk as
That's so
Elliot
cute that they're
Duyacek
watching.
comes back in. As Janulis looks to inbound, finding nothing. Helms, but it's stolen by Dantu. Up the court now with a 15-10 Prospect lead. Over now to Dantu in the corner. Fakes. Not guarded particularly closely by Egihan. It's now over to Elliot Duyacek. Over now to the wing for Chevelis. Flipped over to Dantu into the corner for Kowalczyk. Up. No good. Too much sauce on it. And it will stay with Prospect. Seems a lot of the misses aren't the most pretty misses as they hit the backboard good, but it comes straight back on the other side. As Strode's now, or excuse me, up and no good by Duyacek. Up and good. As she recovered and scored the bucket. Strode's now works as a 7-point deficit, as looks like the Wheeling Cheer squad will get ready for halftime. As Helms takes a three, no good. Rebounded by Niznik. Drodes for three, no good. Rebounded by Igihan, saved, but it's recovered by Prospect over to Chevelis. No good, and a charge called. Tommy, who else but Tommy Helms to take the charge?
Those are just really, that just makes a difference in a player, in my opinion. I'm not throwing shade to anyone on the court right now, but you take girls such as Nikki Niznik or Naomi, and same body type, same height, same strength. There's just that aggressiveness just makes the difference. You see, Droz was right there, but didn't take that charge. She went for the player. Instead, Tommy did that really smart, aggressive play that gets Wheeling the possession.
As Igihan works in, and it's good. Like you said, they're going back to Igihan, and they got their first points of the second quarter.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what they need to keep doing. They really do.
As a push is called.
And on the other side, Helms has been known to foul quite a lot, and that's something, even though they have a huge positive side to being aggressive, it's very difficult to be consistent when you're that aggressive.
It kind of throws you out of your rhythm when you can't kind of consistently go through the plays and all that kind of stuff, as you're continually stopped by fouls. Chevelis works against Niznik, flipped into Dantu, and she scores. 4 points for Abby Dantu as the Prospect lead has increased to 8.
I think Dantu is their girl for shooting, and they should really start locking down at her in the arc. She's already hit 2 huge shots, long-range shots for this game in the last couple minutes. So I feel like they should watch her out for instead of more than everyone else.
As the foul is called on Abby Dantu, Igihan with the position. It'll be on the floor, though, as Niznik will look to inbound. Over now to Helms. She loses it and is touched out of bounds. Little butterfingers on that pass, and it looked like a really good open opportunity as a 30-second timeout is called by Matthew Weber and the Wildcats. 1:53 to go in the second quarter of play, as the Prospect Knights lead the Wheeling Wildcats 20-12. You are watching a good Friday night basketball game live from Wheeling High School, live on YouTube at WCAT Live. I actually didn't get to mention, we were talking about the crowd earlier.
Yeah.
During the halftime of the boys' game, one of our, I'll say, more rambunctious students, Khalid Sharma, was literally screaming at me to give him in the student section a shout out.
Yeah, they were just pointing at me now. They're not looking now, but I'm talking about them right now.
Their wishes will be received, and hopefully they will watch us later and get this great moment.
They won't.
I don't know about that. I saw that Khalid had actually watched the big fight from last week against Elk Grove.
There you go. That's a highlight of the year. All right, back to the game.
As Helen Chavelis throws it all the way back into the corner for Duyacek as she hits a three. Wow. Wyatt would be proud as the prospect lead increases to 11.
What a great assist by Yanshu. That was such an athletic play to see that girl get the ball and quickly turn in the air, pass it to her. Usually stay away from passing in the air, but that was an exception. Very athletic play.
As Igahan's shot was blocked, but a foul on Helms' shot. As it will be Elliot Duyacek with the foul, her first. Don't stay away. We may or may not. It depends if we can grab him. We may have the manager of the Wheeling girls basketball team, as Helms missed their first. Abel Telez will join us for a quick halftime interview.
Let's see. I'm actually really curious how that's going to go. I go up to him before the game. I go, "You ready for the halftime show?" He goes, "Is that today?" So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, good. I was talking to him during school today, and was hopefully he remembered, and I reminded him, and I'm glad to see he still knows. And as the three is lined up, but no good by Scarrett Skaggs.
Great rebound by Tommy Helms.
Well, it's a real hustle player on this team, as it's thrown over to the aforementioned Helms, over to Metellus, over now to Niznik, flipped over to Drodes, excuse me. Flipped over now to Metellus. And now to Niznik on the top of the key as Coach Weber screams out instructions as Igahan misses, but it will be a foul and 2 shots for the 6-foot senior.
Weber's doing what I said that they should be looking for. He was screaming that whole play. Look. They were trying to get it to Nosa Igahan. He was screaming at them to look down because at the beginning of play, actually, surprisingly, she wasn't really giving much effort. She was just standing there. He told Nosa, I saw it happen. He told Nosa, made eye contact with her to get ready. They're going to pass it to her, and she was open for 70% of that play, and they only gave it to her in that last couple seconds. I'm telling you, they should really focus on her. She is like 100%.
No other Wildcats player has scored in this quarter other than Igahan, and she hits the second 2. As she goes 1 for 2 from the line once again. 9 of her team's 13 points. As there's just about 25 seconds left in this first half, as Caleb Byrne checked in during the first free throw by Igahan. As Skaggs now flips it over to Duyacek. Flipped over to Chavelis. Flips it over to Skaggs. Over now to Duyacek, and it's stolen by Drodes. She will flip up the half corner. Oh. No good. Just missed. As the score we have at halftime will remain from the few seconds ago it was. As it's a 23-13 prospect lead.
And this is the thing I was talking about. It's it's the same thing. They really should focus on Nosa Igahan. It's I mean, with her having 70% of the Wildcats' points, I would say just give her the ball. She is a leader. She's a senior captain center on this team. I think they should take advantage of it.
Did you do a little quick math while we were waiting for the first half to end?
You didn't? All right. Yeah, I did take out my calculator for that, okay? I wanted to sound smart.
Well, you do sound smart to me, so don't worry.
Thank you. And on the night side, I'm saying number 35, Abby Danshu is their killer. I mean, she has been on it. She has made, I mean,
She's really been on it. She's really made her mark from downtown. So, and just all over the court. So good for Prospect and the Knights as the Wheeling cheer squad sets up. We may have that Abel Telez interview after they talk things over. We'll see. We may not. I tried to get an interview with fan favorite Thomas Antos, one of our social studies teachers here, but we're unable to acquire his services for an interview as there's about 8.5 minutes before we get the second half going. And once again, the Prospect Knights lead the Wheeling Wildcats 23-13 at the half. You are watching Wheeling Wildcat basketball live from Wheeling High School, live on YouTube at WCAT Live. Well, unfortunately, we couldn't get that interview with the manager of the girls basketball team, but we have a few of our fans from the fan section. Thomas Pagonis here with me first. I know Wheeling wasn't able to pull it out in that first game in the boys game, but how exciting for you in the fan section was that?
Man, with the fans, I mean, like, come on. We help our team so much, and they know it. We get in the other team's heads. They hear a crowd that's crazy like that. And, I mean, for us to lose every game we lose, just crazy disappointing. But we know that we always got next game, and we know we're going to win the next one.
So
just going to get in their heads, cheer out loud. We got it.
So I got to ask, who came up with the idea with the pizza boxes and the poster?
It was mostly, I'll give Khalid credit for that one. He saw the little Peyton Manning joke, and the guys, they're little big foreheads, but you know. Yeah, but it was Khalid, yeah. We got that one, but you know.
You guys,
it was a good little joke.
Being up here in the booth, I love watching you guys just go nuts and everything and just supporting a team. It's just, it's great fun to watch and everything.
Yeah, we cheer till we lose our voice. That's the best thing we can do. Yeah.
All right, so
we'll
thank you for joining me, Thomas.
Yeah, no problem.
Looks like we're going to have another fan from our student section. As we're going to have Kenny Oshino joining me on the broadcast now.
Yeah, great to be here.
What does it feel like to be on a broadcast such as this?
It's pretty awesome. You know, love the school, love the spirit. It's great to be up here with you.
All right. So I asked Thomas this too, but how did you feel at least during that first half of this girls' game so far? I know they were down 10, but how are you feeling about the team so far?
Yeah, you know, I'm feeling great. They're playing well. I mean, prospects really making their shots and everything, but you know, like that's gonna happen. Nosa's playing real well. We made a real big three out here. I mean, 10-point game, but I mean, it doesn't really seem like that being down on the court. It's pretty close.
Definitely a game within reach for sure.
For sure.
So, thank you very much for joining me.
Yes, sir. No problem. Anytime.
Yeah. As we will have our last. All right. As we have our last quick guess with about 50 seconds before we get this game back underway. Senior Khalid, do you consider yourself kind of like the leader of the Wheeling fan section?
No, there is a big three, me, Tommy, Dominic, and we also have Kenny. So kind of a big four.
All right, it's good. It's good to see that you're leading the spirit section here at Wheeling and everything. What are your thoughts so far in this first half of Wheeling's girls game so far?
It's pretty good. Nosa looks like she's unstoppable over there. Nobody could guard her.
What do you think they need to do to improve and try and get back in this game?
I think just getting more passing on point and better shots from the three. We've taken a couple shots that were not really good.
All right, well, we're just about to start away, so unfortunately, I'm going to have to kick you out.
No problem.
Thank you so much
Thank
for joining
you for having me.
We have it. What an interesting trio of characters we just had in our interview section.
Great guys. Pagonis, Yoshino, and Samham. Just great guys. Great friends. Love them.
Absolutely.
Great
spirit leaders of this Wheeling fan section as the first shot is missed and now rebounded by Igihan as she was fighting with Abby Dansu. Gerodes works in now. Works down to the wing. Flipped into Igihan in the low post, nearly triple team. Helms for three. Bang! Tommy Helms from downtown.
That was a great three to take. I was talking about avoiding the three, that was great three to take. She was right at the line, not 4 steps behind it. She was perfectly open. Sorry, I got distracted there. I just saw the corner of my eye that Yoshino and Samham were wrestling in the corner on the floor. Sorry. But that was a great three to take. She had no one on her, and she put it in, which was a senior leader should do.
Yeah, it's just kind of the shots at this level you want to take. You don't want to really force anything. You don't want someone right in your face and taking a three. As Metellus takes a open three off the front of the rim, rebounded by Igihan, flips in the lane. No good, and it's rebounded by Abby Dantu. Flipped up now to Jessica Kowalczyk. No good. Too much sauce on that layup attempt as Drodes and the Cats will slowly come back the other way. As now Nikki Niznik over to Drodes into Igihan. Double teamed, up and good. Nosa Igihan and a quick 5-0 run by the Wildcats. As looks like Dr. May is asking some of our interviewees to leave the premises. As now flipped into Dantu, quick shot, no good, rebounded by Ashley Adams, and it's good. No one was really there to guard her, so how do you get someone that open? You have 5 people on the court, and you're supposed to box out 5 people.
With this zone defense that they're playing, it's very easy to get caught up in not forgetting, but getting distracted. It has a lot of concentration to do with playing zone defense.
Helms takes another 3, nearly banks it, but no good. Rebounded by, Niznik over to Drodes. Flipped over to Helms. Back over to Drodes. Niznik working back over to the other wing. Flips it over. Drodes flips it to Niznik. Stolen, and it's flipped up to Chevelis. Saved. Up to Dansu. No good. Blocked, but a foul.
With, like I was saying, with the Wildcats playing zone defense, it's very easy to get distracted or lose focus and start gutting one guard on one side, especially since it is the only one down there is Nosa. She has a 10-foot by 10-foot square to take up, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have passes getting zipped in from either side at any given time, it's sometimes difficult to guard both of those sides, and sometimes, unfortunately, like this one, it ended up with the Knights scoring a very easy 2-point bucket.
I agree. I'm wondering if you can tell. It might have a little bit more experience. What zone does it look like the Wildcats be running? It looks like maybe a 2-3 or 3-2.
It looks like it. With 3 of them, one of them up by the key, 2 of the corners, and no sub, all by herself down in the paint. And then the 4th power forward just shifting around that middle area.
So it's almost like a 2-2 with the free roamer.
It does look like it. Either that or they're in the wrong position. But either way, it just seems like it's very vulnerable for the Knights to throw it down by the baseline by the paint and score easy buckets. Even though they've only scored like 4 or 5 buckets, they've had many more chances than that to do it. So I don't know if Weber or the Knights realize this, but that's really the weakness in the Wildcats defense right now and the strong suit in the Knights, and vice versa.
Absolutely. As the first one is off the front of the rim, off the far side of the rim, no good. As Nancy will hope to make it a 8-point prospect lead. It rolls in, and it is an 8-point lead. As Chloe Drodes now works over the timeline, working against the 2-3 zone as Helms pops the 3. No good. A quick shot, but tipped. Tipped again, stolen by Niznik. Up, no good. Rebounded by Igihan and good.
Well, that's what Nose is there for, taking care of our little freshman down on the court like number 3, Niznik.
Yeah,
you can really see the nervousness that she had there. She's really got to calm down. She had an open
that wide open
layup like she did,
yeah, looks
like she does all the time, and she didn't even hit the rim on that. She kind of hit off the backboard, and that's okay, but she just really needs to calm down, especially this late in the game, and just put that in.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of those freshmen and varsity nerves. I'm taking a look at it now. Looks like Wheeling's running more of a 2-3 zone.
Yep.
As with 2 people at the top and 3 running the bottom of the floor, which was interesting because you were talking about how it's easy to get down low for prospect, and we saw it again there as the bucket was made by Ashley Adams. But with the 2-3 zone, you expect the paint to be more clogged.
You would think so, but what I'm seeing is happening is that the since it's a 2-3, the the 1, 2, 3 girls at the top, the 1 and 2 girls that are not in the middle of the paint where Nosa is, are getting caught in the corners. And it's leaving just like that. Well, not just like that was a fast break, broken play. But when it's centered, I feel like the wing defenders are getting pulled towards the back corners of the court too much because of all the passes they're making there. And that leaves that open spot with just Nosa there letting hang out to dry.
As the foul was on Metellus, as it was Stephanie Kowalczyk makes the first, and it looks like it will be Elliot Duyatrek will come in eventually if it's a make, and it is. Was once a looked like a 5-point lead at some point, has now ballooned back to 10, right where we started at the beginning of the half. As Drodes flips it over to Niznik into the Drodes, up, no good, rebounded but lost by Igihan, and a foul is called on Igihan as she slaps the floor.
And that is I can really relate to that frustration where, as a veteran player like she is, she knows she can't make those mistakes. And as she was doing it, she realized that the aggressiveness was unneeded and a little too much. And I feel like it's okay to really let out your frustration there, to show, not to show people, but to really let everyone know that you understand what you just did and move on.
Percentage you mentioned of Igihan having the team's points has dipped just a little bit from 70 to 65% of her team's points. As Adams works in, a foul will be called on Igihan. Quickly, 2 fouls in just short order, as she has 3 overall for the contest.
And as you can see, I don't know if our producer had the camera on Igihan at the time, but she looked up at the scoreboard, and what she was doing was checking to see how many fouls she was, because she realizes that only 3 minutes left to play in this third quarter, but she only has 2 more fouls to spare, and her last 2 were made in 20 seconds apart. So she really needs to be careful, and I think she is smart enough to hold the aggressiveness back a little bit so she could, because even though that the Knights will score because of it maybe a few times, I think because of how good of an offensive player she is, it'll break even, if not make a profit in points, if she stays in this game.
Both free throws were good. Sarah Skaggs and Kayla Byrne checked in for Prospect as Helms floats one up, no good off the far side of the rim. As Prospect and Helen Chevelis, will take it the other way. Chevelis now over to Duyatrek, over to Byrne for 3, no good. Rebounded by Duyatrek, no good. Rebounded by Igihan. Over now to Chloe Drodes. Takes it over the blue W of the Wheeling logo. Flips it to Drodes, up, no good, blocked, and a jump ball. It will stay with the Wildcats.
There we go.
That's only the first foul committed by Prospect in this half, and there's only a couple minutes left in this third quarter. It's flipped over to Helms from Niznik into Drodes. Flips it over to Metellus, over to Niznik in the corner. Or excuse me, the wing is Metellus takes a 3 and Naomi Metellus hits the 3.
That is the Naomi we know and love.
Other than Igihan, all of the Wildcat points have either come on threes or free throws. 9 points between Helms and Metellus. 1 point coming from Chloe Drodes on a free throw as the shot is no good. There's about 1:40 left in this third quarter. As Drodes now works over, flips over to Niznik. Dribbles up a little bit. Flips it over to Drodes on the wing. Up, no good, but a foul.
I actually have a quick, really funny story, or actually a good story. Naomi Metellus, number 24, I have known her since kindergarten.
Really?
And the reason we know each other and we created a bond is because of the love for the game of basketball.
Really?
I remember every single day I went out to recess. I would play Metellus and just pick up ball, basketball, every single day. That's why I love seeing her out there, because I've seen her play and I know her style of play since I was 6, 7 years old.
Wow.
And I still watch her, and she has the same style. She just has a smooth everything. She is just so smooth with the game. It's fun watching her play, and she's a really good, nice, really good friend. So I love watching her play.
As Drodes makes 1 of 2. Connections run a little bit deeper than you might think. Our cameraman, Jared Freeman, actually went to middle school with Ashley Adams from Prospect. So a lot of connections between Wheeling and Prospect. Not surprised, as both schools are not too far apart, and not far apart in Joseph Towns, as obviously Prospect is in, I believe, in Prospect Heights, and obviously Wheeling in Wheeling. As it will, as Tommy Helms commits the foul.
And that's 2 Wildcats into their 3rd foul and breaking 50% in their foul percentage. And that was a huge foul for the Knights, since Helms has been making a pretty good impact on this game with the second leading scorer with 6 points. It is, and there we go, Helms is taken out and replaced by Karina Gomez, who is a senior here, number 13. She has been on the team since her freshman year, and what I like about her, she gives 100% all the time. And being a senior,
Bird drains the 3. So
being a senior, it's cool to see her on the court getting the playing time with her last year. And a great 3 by the Knights.
yes, Metellus flips it over to Gomez. Surprised, considering she's a senior, she hasn't played much up to this point. About 40 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, and she's just getting action. Is flipped into Agihan, up and good.
There we go.
As it's a 9-point Prospect lead. Flipped up, and the floater is no good, rebounded by Agihan. Over to Gomez, back to Drodes, as she will gingerly walk over the timeline, as there's about 18 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Metellus now over to Gomez on the deep wing. Flips it now to Metellus, over to Drodes. A screen as Drodes flies in, no good. Rebounded, but there will be no shot, as Wheeling overall chips the deficit, but it's still a 3-possession game for the Prospect Knights.
Well, technically, they did decrease the lead by 1.
That's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Well, one thing I want to add that the Knights, in my opinion, are doing better than the Wildcats is actually on the coaching side. The Knights are making substitutions. So the girls out there are basically fresh all the time. You don't really see the fatigue as much on the Knights side, whereas on the Wheeling side, the same 5 people, same 5 girls, minus, give or take, Naomi Metellus and Karina Gomez, the rest of the girls, such as Nikki Niznik, Chloe Drodes, and Nosa Igihan, and Sam Janlis was in there too, they've been in there the entire game. And you see, they do have girls on the bench that replace them. He is just not putting them in. And it's not like they're outplaying each other on the court right now. Nikki Niznik isn't that making much of a difference, though, being a freshman. It's just interesting that Weber isn't making that change, and he hasn't really all year. But let's see if he does that in the second, in this 4th quarter, last quarter of the game.
And just want to give a quick thank you to all who have made this broadcast and this experience possible. Mr. Michael Burke, a former retired teacher here at Wheeling High School.
Great teacher.
I had him for at Black back in my junior year.
Amazing.
Our PA, basically our PA announcer tonight, Pete Ogilvie, and head varsity volleyball coach Jason Kapowski, as Ashley Adams hits it, working the scoreboards.
Great coaches. Both great. I've had Pete Ogilvie as a pitching coach for baseball and Kapowski for the last 3 years for volleyball. Love both of them. Great
and
men.
the legendary Hall of Fame, as Drodes misses the 3. The legendary Hall of Fame, Marilyn Kent, 40 years of service here at Wheeling High School. I don't know if I've told you this story, but my grandmother actually got her the job here at Wheeling High School.
That's amazing.
My grandmother didn't even work at Wheeling.
And she's doing the scoreboard here tonight. And again, sorry, back to the game real quick. Again, Joel is just taking a very forced three, not doing much for the Wildcats. They should really think about putting it down to Nosa.
Yeah, only 2 points, and on those 2 points, 2 of 4 from the free throw line. So got to be a little bit smarter. She has tried to drive in, but she's been fouled almost every time. So,
which have been getting the points, and she's a very good free throw shooter.
As Metellus takes a quick three, no good. Rebounded by Igihan, strong move, but no good, and a foul is called, and it'll be 2 shots.
And in my opinion, though, not meaning to be biased, obviously you're rooting for Wheeling here, I do not agree with that call. It's a very late call, and you can see the ref hesitated. If it was a call at all, it should have been on the ground because it looked like after the shot was taken, completely after. But let's see. Might work out in Wheeling's favor as Nosa Igihan misses the first free throw.
Hopefully it'll pay dividends as a 11-point prospect lead. Want to give a quick shout out to all our staff overall tonight. Thank you to Wyatt Duyacek, who, as Nosa misses the second, is rebounded by Helms. Wyatt Duyacek for doing a fantastic broadcast with me, taking over play-by-play duties for our first game. Want to give a special thank you to Jared Freeman and Matthew Posner, who have worked the cameras all night. Thank you very much. Thank you to a fellow prospect student, Amanda Stickles, who has been our producer, our great producer all night. Ben Karp is our assistant producer for this game. And along here with me, Jared Moser, who was our assistant producer for the first game, and now my partner. I am Jackson Gross, who's been broadcasting both games with you all night.
It's easy. It's an easy job you're doing. It's not that hard at all. Just kidding. It's pretty hard. Give us kudos.
It gets easier over time, I will say that. As it's possible as a three is missed, tipped off by Niznik, and it'll taken up by Gerodes.
It was a good shot taken there.
As Metellus mixes the three, hustled over by Byrne. She looks to go into the paint, flips it out to Kowalczyk. Bang! Stephanie Kowalczyk hits the three. And it's a 14-point prospect lead. And Matt Weber ain't too none pleased with that. As
those last 2 threes taken by the Knights were 2 very good threes. Even though Abby Danshu missed the first one, it was still a good shot, including the second one, who was taken by Stephanie Kowalczyk. 2 great threes. One of them fell, but that's really the difference between Wheeling and the Knights here is the smart shots are going in, and unfortunately for Wheeling, the smart shots are just not falling tonight, which is showing on the scoreboard where Knights are leading by 14 points.
Yeah, and it's really kind of played into that. As you mentioned, the prospect Knights with a 40-point lead, or excuse me, not 40-point, a 14-point lead. As they have 40 points, as Wheeling has 26 with 6:19 left in this fourth quarter. It kind of seemed Wheeling had gotten back into it, but at this point, it seems like Prospect's trying to run away with it. And for those Northwestern alumnus or those who are interested, the Northwestern Wildcats, the men's, have unfortunately fallen to the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Or no, excuse me, they've beaten the Rutgers Scarlet Knights 65-57. Jarek Pardon, 17.7 rebounds. Mathis for the Scarlet Knights with 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist, as we're focused on high school basketball. As Chloe Drodes takes it over for the Cats. Over now to Tommy Helms. To Nosa Igihan. Flips it out to Drodes. Into Igihan, nearly stolen. Out to Helms. Drives in to Igihan. Up and no good.
Great drive by Igihan. Though the basket didn't fall, those drives have been keeping them in this game.
And that was a good passing as Duyacek takes the three, no good. Rebounded by Kowalczyk. Dujacek takes another three, no good. She seems a little trigger happy from on the three-point line.
That second three was just frustration for missing the first one, because the first one really daggered out. It was kind of robbed, and you tend to see that when people get the rebound back right after they miss the first one, they tend to shoot a premature three, and that's something you really want to stay back. And that was a great rebound by Nosa Igihan down to the paint.
Getting the bucket, the rebound and the bucket, as the Wheeling Wrestlers have looked to come back from their competition, as Kowalczyk takes a quick mid-range and hits. Jessica Kowalczyk hits the nice little mid-range.
John Quintero, Ben Umansky, and John Paul Smith among the wrestlers who have come back to finish up watching this varsity girls basketball game.
As Niznik throws it to Igihan, it's tipped and stolen by the Knights. As Dujacek throws it into Danciu, and it's good. Abby Danciu increases the Prospect lead,
and
as
again,
it's 44-28 Prospect.
I will make a point about what I was going to say when we have more time, because I'm probably going to rant.
As Helms misses the three. Well, no, he's saying because we haven't given. He's just joking around, haven't given a shout out yet. As Metellus hits one of two, as surprisingly, Danciu fakes the three. She was quite open. Surprised, she's been doing pretty well from beyond the arc. So, as Shelvis gets an easy bucket, and it's really going wrong for Wheeling. 46-29 Prospect.
The reason that's happening, I feel like, in my opinion, they have gotten an excess number of free layups down to the paint. It's purely because of fatigue on the Wildcat side. Nosa has been in 100% of the minutes in this game, and she's just not getting down there in time with this 2-3 zone defense. I think that was a foul on Joe's there. Just holding her hands up in disbelief. She doesn't really like that call, but it is what it is.
I think more like Wheeling's doing a pretty good job offensively. They may be taking in too many threes, but when you have a player by Igihan, you can kind of just chuck it up there. As the first one is good by Shelvis.
And all those fouls have been racking up all game, and this is where they really start
impacting,
daggering into that Wheeling deficit, where they're getting into the bonus. And Prospect is such good free throw shooters, as they make both free throws in that first bonus round.
Foul, I think, was just called on Prospect.
Interesting.
Foul is on Elliot Dujacek. Fouled, I believe, Tommy Helms on that last free throw. And like I was saying earlier about Igihan, she's been getting all the boards. She has 19 points. She just needs some more help, and I think you're really seeing the loss of Morgan Collar in this. Is another great offensive post player, but also a good defensive player as well, helping patrol the paint along with Igihan, and that's being sorely missed by the girls at this point. As Helms looks, drives, and a foul.
All right, another aggressive play by Tommy, and surprisingly, this is why I feel like she's being really smart. She went back in at the start of the fourth quarter when she fouled twice at the end of the third quarter, and she went up to four. She has 4 fouls. If she fouls again, she's done, but she's been doing a great job with still staying very aggressive in this game like she is herself. But Helms has held back and kept her fouls to 4, because if she gets another one, she's done.
Yeah, that's definitely good, as she misses both. Both of them rimming out. Tough luck, as they will stay a 17-point Prospect lead. as Kowalczyk misses the bucket.
Great
and
rebound by Niznik.
Gets it.
Being a shorter player. Love that rebound.
Good strong rebound. As DeRhodes works in, flips it over to Niznik, over to Vitalis, but Helms gets it as it's a charge. And as you mentioned, that will be it for Helms. It kind of, I know you want to keep the competitive balance and everything, but at this point in the game, Prospects up 17 with about 2:43 left. I think you call that a block and let Wheeling get a little bit of momentum.
Well, I don't know.
You want to call the game correctly, and no doubt that call could have gone either
that was
way.
the right call. She took a charge, and
Yeah, I'm not saying it was a bad call, but what I'm saying is at the stage of the game we're in and the score as is, not to take pity, but maybe not, I don't know, maybe not let go as, let them play a little bit more and kind of
other than
help
that,
out.
It was a great layup by
Helms. And it's,
Helms. It was just an unfortunate play.
yeah, as it's flipped up
As
by
another
Kowalczyk.
board.
And that's really been the story of this game, as we have talked about. Prospect getting easy buckets left and right, as it's almost a 20-point
Well, I actually
lead.
disagree. That was not an easy. That was actually a very athletic play by the Knights. She was guarded pretty heavily. Actually, double teamed. She went in between two players and scooped it under Egihan to get that, and it just
As
ended up
Metellus
going in.
lines up and here he hits. Naomi Metellus trying to get Wheeling back into this as he hits, and Kowalczyk comes back up again and scores. Wheeling really needs to improve that transition defense as Matt Weber calls a timeout. It seems like 3 or 4 possessions now. Prospect has been able to get it out after Wheeling make one pass to the outlet, one pass down the court, and it's an easy layup. And I didn't mean like the difficulty of the layups, but how close the shots are to the basket as how easy they have been.
Yeah. And, yeah, I get you on that. And, again, right here, it is the fatigue kicking in. Since all the Prospect players are fresh players, some of them have been playing the whole game. But others, like 3 or 4 of them, have been switching in and out, in and out, in and out. And it has been showing. I mean, the Wildcats, the same 5, have been in for 50% of the game. And you could just see it. I mean, that game, they made that 3, and the ball beat Naomi.
Everybody.
The ball beat Naomi Metellus, who made the 3. And that wasn't because of effort. That's just because she's tired. And they just got the ball back quicker than the Wildcats could get down there.
And maybe part of the reason there have been so many missed threes is that their legs get tired, and you have to continually put strain down and then up on your legs and
That
your
is another
arms.
point that shots, when you're tired, it's very difficult to make shots consistently. And that's what differentiates a good team from a great team.
This is not like NBA 2K where you can just give some players some Gatorade and they'll be okay. This is real life. As Prospect has a 18-point lead with about 1:20 to go. And
Let's give a quick shout out to Ben Karp over there, assistant producing, doing a great job, and Amanda from Prospect producing. And why not? Let's give a shout out to our producing manager, the teacher, Mr. Reinhardt here at Wheeling.
Absolutely. Great job by everyone involved who's been tonight. And it's a great partnership that we've had between Wheeling and Prospect. I myself have been able, as the shot is blocked and it'll be a jump ball, I myself have been able to broadcast a couple games along with Wyatt at Prospect. And it's good to see this partnership growing, and I hope for our sake it will continue to go on. And just also to give a shout out to the rest of our crew tonight. Matthew Posner, one of our fine cameramen, freshman, along with fellow freshman Jared Freeman. Thank you to all who made this game and broadcast possible. As it's going the other way, and a foul on Gomez. As it was Jessica Kowalczyk. As the Prospect will look to get it to a 20-point lead. And
as the Knights gain this, the biggest lead of their game so far, it seems like the competitiveness has kind of flatlined. And it's understandable since the game is out of reach at this point with only 30 seconds left to play. And Prospect outplaying the Wildcats immensely in this matchup. it's typical for at that end of the fourth quarter for that win or that excitement of winning to kind of flatline towards the end. It's understandable. I've felt it before playing, and it kind of shows here with the fans and the players here tonight.
Yeah, it kind of shows, like in a different game where we're a lot closer, like our first game tonight, as it's stolen by Utrecht. You never know who's going to win. Obviously, Prospect went in a quick 8-0 run, and that pretty much sealed the game. But until about 3 minutes left, you didn't know who was going to pull it out. As the boys Prospect team improved to an impressive 6-0 on the MSL ledger. I was actually talking to White about it. Prospect has not lost a MSL East game, the boys rather,
And then it's surprising.
since 2 seasons ago against Hersey. They now have a 16-game MSL East win streak.
Very impressive. And it seems like that has cascaded over into the girls' side as the Knights.
Prospect will improve to 6-1 in the MSL East, and Wheeling will fall to 1-5, and will fall to 9-12 overall. Prospect will improve to 12-5.
Let's see the freshman Nikki Nisnik to prove herself and make these free throws.
She banks it.
Bank is open now, ladies and gentlemen.
I think for pride, with 10 seconds left, you're trying to make this second one
Of course
and
you
make
are.
it not a 20-point loss.
That's what we're talking about.
As it's missed, and that will do it as the final 6 seconds will tick down from the clock. Excuse me, Prospect will improve to 5-2 on the MSL East ledger, and that will do it.
I like that very sportsmanlike play they prospected. They didn't try to score again, and you don't usually see it, but you'll see it every once in a while. Teams winning by a lot with team trying to like chuck up a 3 right at the last second. Very unsportsmanlike, but the Prospect Knights girls team handled it pretty well, just ran the clock out, and I feel like we all at Wheeling and at Prospect can appreciate that. But other than that, pretty good matchup between these teams. Prospect had a grasp on the Wildcats for probably 90% of this matchup, minus the first half of the first quarter. But yeah, thank you for tuning in.
Definitely entertaining. Absolutely. Thank you all throughout the night who have watched, whether you watched for 30 seconds or you're here with us for almost 4 hours now of this
If any
live
of you were here
stream.
for 4 hours, I'll give you some
You're the real
kudos.
MVP.
There you go.
So, for Jared Freeman, our camera person, Matthew Posner, our Kyle Reinhardt, and Brad Kaler, Amanda Stickles, fellow Prospect student, and Ben Karp. Also for Jared Moser, my partner, I am Jackson Gross.
Hi.
You have been watching this presentation of Wildcat basketball, boys and girls, as the Prospect Knights, the girls, beat the Wheeling Wildcats 55-35. You have been watching the Wheeling Wildcats high school basketball live from Wheeling High School, live on YouTube at WCAT Live. I believe we have another game next Friday against Rolling Meadows. I will confirm that. If it's true, we will see you then.
Close it out real quick. And thank you for watching. And shout out to the Truman Show. In case we don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.